Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the B-Leaguers podcast. I have no idea what episode number this is because we've lost fucking track because we've been doing this for so fucking long. But anyway, welcome back. It's the B-Leaguers podcast brought to you by the Koyo Store. Head to thekoyostore.com/B-Leaguers. That's our affiliate link. Give us a kickback if you buy anything on there. And if you want to get a little bit of a discount and help us out even more, it's code, all caps, B-Leaguers for 5% off any order on the website. They have all of your Rainbow Six Siege pins, but also new Game of Thrones pins coming out soon as well, which I think you'll all enjoy. We're back, and we're both back in North America. I'm back home in Toronto. Sam's back home in Texas. We're officially relocated again back to our proper continent. We're no longer in Poland. Sam, of course, will be going back to Poland in a few weeks to USN, and I'm sitting on my ass because I ain't going anywhere, baby. Welcome back.
Poland's a fun place. I'm a little jealous of Flynn being able to stay home, but I enjoy my job, and being able to go out there and do that is a lot of fun. I like Blue, I like Veli, so we'll see what the next lineup is. But for right now, this is me and Vel. We'll see if we get Blue back. We really don't know, but we're excited for USN. I'm definitely excited to be home though and get a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I think this was well needed. Our time in Poland was fun, but arduous to say the least. It's a big shift going from North America to Poland. But we're back, and also in our travels between Poland and here, for a weekend anyway, we were in Milan, Italy for the Season 9 Pro League Finals. You and I casted the semifinals and quarterfinals of that. Obviously, Parker and Michael took the finals, which was EG against Empire, and we both said EG were going to win. And we looked like we were fucking geniuses for a hot minute there.
We were so close.
Yeah, and then we fucked it. Then we fucked it real hard.
And then we fucked it. Yeah, I don't think there's any better way to put it. And then we fucked it. Yes.
And then we fucked it. So I'm gonna.
And then everyone got pictures of you and me legitimately crying. So it was great. I don't know.
Yeah, that CGG photographer that tweeted the picture of me dying in the front row of the finals. If anyone wants context on that, me and Sam were both down in the front row, right in front of the EG bench, and we were watching the games, ready for it to close out, and this was on Oregon. And I think everyone knows the round, so I don't really need to go into much detail, but let's just say Troy was a vigil prone at the top of White Stairs.
Bum, 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 bum,
and then it all fucking went to hell. So that was the moment at which that picture was taken, and I think everyone was kind of feeling how I was feeling in that moment. But let's recap, because someone wanted us to do this a little while back, which was just try and break down the predictions and see how we did. So I think it was well documented as well that I was the only team, or the only person, to take Dark Zero against Empire as an option. Take it as what I thought was going to happen. And I got ridiculed for it. Quite a lot. So that was fun. I threw on the purple tie and the purple pocket square for Dark Zero on the first day. Clearly, that did not. That faith and that wardrobe change did not change what a lot of people assumed was going to happen. And of course, Empire beat Dark Zero. But the first game of that day was Fnatic against Nora on the Saturday, and everyone basically picked Fnatic to beat Nora, and that kind of came true pretty evidently later on. They were both incredibly close maps, I think. I honestly think that Fnatic and Nora was the closest game on Saturday. It was just still Fnatic looking too strong, and I mean that was kind of the thing with them throughout this entire tournament, is that Fnatic looked like they actually had a shot to the finals, and I even predicted that they would make a run to the finals based on how they were looking and how their opponents in front of them were looking. And man, I feel bad for Nora though, because it looks so strong at SI. And then you lose Waka, and you kind of got to pick up the pieces from there. They also replaced JJ with Noshingo before heading into Milan, and it seemed to have helped. It's just not Waka, and I don't think there's actually a player in Japan right now who could replace Waka. I think it's very fair to say that Waka is hands down the best Japanese Rainbow Six Siege player of all time, and currently still is, even though he's sitting at home streaming.
I would 100% agree. That man's mechanical skill is truly something to behold, which we did on that border run out where he killed 2 people off of the same door at SI at probably a good 100 yards out with an MPX. which is the damage drop off on the MPX, as you know, is terrible. So it's either you hit the guy in the head or you don't kill him. And he did it not once, but twice in the same round, which is literally insane. So again, Norengo looks really, really good. I thought Fnatic again was going to make a run to the final. I didn't predict that, but I felt like their energy there, that they definitely could do it. Just especially I mean, the Fnatic boys put it the best. No one expected Empire's clubhouse to be that good.
No, and that was kind of the theme of the whole fucking weekend was, hey, do we have Empire on Clubhouse? Yeah, okay, throw the white flag. we're dead. We're fucking dead. Their attacks on Clubhouse are stupid strong. And I don't know, I thought EG might have had a chance in the final. I know we're bouncing around in terms of timeline, but might as well get it all out there while it's still fresh on the mind. I really thought when EG banned Jackal that it would have thrown a kink into things for Empire on Clubhouse. That was what Joystick was rocking against Fnatic during the 7-0, and it didn't help. It didn't really help. Fucking Christ, man. Empire on Clubhouse right now is too fucking strong, which is weird because did I do a deep dive for Empire? I don't think I did. I think I did one for everyone else. Oh no, I did do one for Empire. Let me go pull it up real quick. Because, yeah, there it is. Empire on Clubhouse so far this season, in the regular season anyway, they're 3-0-1. But it was nowhere near their best map. Their best map by far is Consulate, and you and I standing at that casting desk waiting for the second game of the day, which was Empire versus Dark Zero. I lost my mind when Empire didn't pick Consulate when they had the opportunity to, and they let Dark Zero ban it away from them. I didn't think Clubhouse was still going to be as strong for Empire, and yet it turned out to be.
Well, we just hadn't seen it yet. I mean, that was a real question there at the tournament, is how deep is their map pool? Well, it's pretty fucking deep. So it seems that if they're going to let anything through at all, they know how to play it, and they know how to play it to a T. It isn't just, oh yeah, we kind of have a general idea of what we want to do. It's, no, we scrim this. We have it down to a science on exactly what we want to do on this map. And I think the thing about Empire is that their offensive takes are just so fucking vicious, dude. So vicious. That bank game against Dark Zero, like they kind of had a cold start because, again, they just picked up Dan. Dan was trying to warm up with the roster, which eventually he did hit his stride, and he got MVP of the whole fucking tournament, which hats off to that guy. But, I mean, even then, after they got warmed up on bank, that's how they came all the way back. Their offensive sets were just so vicious the whole fucking tournament. I was so very impressed by that. Like, their defense was still very good. It's top notch. You know, they're still a top tier team on defense, but their offensive sets is where they truly shine.
Yeah, my biggest concern heading in, because I even said right as Gassan threw to us, I was like, holy shit, Dark Zero just won the fuck out of this ban phase, because Oregon was their map, and Bank was stronger in the recent 6 months for Dark Zero than it had been for Empire. So Empire hasn't actually played a game on Villa in the last 6 months in any recorded official match. And I thought, okay, there's your weakest map. Their next weakest map from there is Bank. They're 1-1-1 on it. Every other map they have a better record on and more playtime on. And still, Empire, like you said, they were down 4-2 at the half. And then as soon as they swapped to attack, good fucking night. I get that it needs to go to overtime, to OT match point, but fuck, man, you're right. Like, the attacks from Empire, it's terrifying to go up against. And I was feeling real cocky at that 4-2 split on Bank. I'm like, oh yeah, Dark Zero's got this, baby. I'm going to be the only one.
Oh, we were both there.
I'm going to be the only one.
Let's go, dude. North America. Like, I remember when we got to the split, like, I was tapping you on the shoulder. I was like, fuck yeah, Flynn, okay. Like, North America's in this bitch. And then we got our shit rocked. So... Oh,
yeah,
man.
Oregon wasn't even close, and that was kind of the story of all of day one. It's like, hey, the first map's going to be close, or whatever map isn't Oregon is going to be close. Oregon was just not a close game for any team other than EG and Empire in the final.
That shouldn't have been close either.
Nope, shouldn't have been close. Should not have been close there either.
I know they had a lot of opportunities. I know they had a lot, but still... Troy, why did you rotate to top white, my man? Like, why? And what in what world is that the play in that kind of a setting? Like, that's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, there was other rounds that they obviously could have closed it out. Like that round, well, not the round in particular, but another highlight round of that Oregon game was when NVK ran out and got a 3K, and then it got down to a 2v2 somehow. And we're just like, you and I are literally sitting in the crowd. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is happening? Like, oh my God, dude. It was so close yet so far. And if anything, it still shows that EG's got it. They're just missing one tiny piece. And that tiny piece is everybody get on the same page. Excuse me. Everybody get on the I've been drinking beer all day. I apologize, guys. Everybody get on the same page. Because right there, it's somebody trying to make a hero play that gets punished. And eventually that just trickles on down to the rest of your team. Because for the rest of that tournament, I looked it up. Troy was actually the 4th worst player there by rating, which is not good, especially for a team that made it all the way to the finals. That means he's played the most rounds out of everyone. You should not have that low of a rating. Have the 4th lowest rating. And rating takes into account everything. That's why we, traditionally speaking, if you're having a bad day, that's why you go by that. You don't go, oh, his KD is super low, but this, and this. You know, you go by the rating because it rounds all of it into one number. Flynn and I have already broke it down. You can do it a million different ways. So it'll give you a different numerical value. But since CGG's done this a million times over, we kind of have a general sense of what's good and what's bad. He had less than a 1. I think it was a 0.74, 0.64, right in that range. I'm going to pull it up right now while we're talking. But just not a good tournament for him at all. And Troy just didn't seem like himself. Didn't do any interviews. It seemed like he was more or less trying to set his mind state to, we're going to win, and that is my entire focus. And it seemed like once they got to Oregon, or I mean, more or less just when they got to the Empire game in general, all that shit just went out the window. He just started trying to do all these hero plays that were either getting them a little bit of footing or just losing them rounds. And that's not the way to be, you know. Like, it's a team-oriented game for a reason. And I don't know, man. That Oregon game, I you know me, Flynn. I don't like blaming it on one person. It's a team game.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things there where you just go, buddy, what the fuck? You know, like, why is that? Why is that the play? Why is that the call? What is going on? You know? So there's times like that where I wish we had people mic'd up to where we could break down comms and understand what's going on. But again, that's something which will come out like a year from now on what happened, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, you were right there. Troy did have the worst rating for EG in all 3 games that they played. And for the last one, in the best of 3 against, that actually did go 3 maps, against Empire, he was the worst rated in the entire lobby with a 0.78.
All right, so he had the 5th lowest. Excuse me, I apologize, guys. So it was PX, Hicks, Uno, and Papilia all had lower ratings than Canadian. But Canadian had a 0.81 rating, which, if you guys want to look at a good rating, the highest rating there was Astro at a 1.29. So big difference. And also, Troy had the worst plus minus on his KD. He was negative 20, which means he had 20 more deaths than he had kills. And his plays were sledge and mute, which are flex, because that's traditionally what Canadian does. If you guys know his Canadian's playstyle and EG with him at all, he is literally on everything. Montang, Ash, Sledge, Zofia, Twitch, Thatcher. Like, how many different fucking ops did he play there? Like 8 on offense and like 6 on defense, something along those lines. So, I mean, the Canadians all over the board. And to have that is just not good. His cost was a 0.52. That is not good, man. Oh man, that's not good.
Yeah, Troy had a bad tournament. I think all of this is culminating to the simple sentence of, yeah, Troy had a bad time. And it sucks. It sucks that Troy wasn't able to get into it, I guess, and really be the difference maker that he usually is. You're right, though. He was acting a little different. I mean, everyone else on EG was coming up and talking to us and like having a good time, and you know, we were hanging out with like Aaron and Amar and Peter and
dude,
Nate.
Amar was a fucking light on that team. So was Gio. Everyone else was happy go lucky, and then Troy was just
Yeah,
He was not Troy. Like I talked to Troy a little bit at SI, and I know that you and Troy are decent friends. I just did not get that this is Canadian vibe off of him at all. You know,
it was different
uh,
because yeah, like you said, we've been friends for a while since right like a little bit before I started casting. We're not like the closest of friends, but you know we've had a decent relationship with each other for a couple of years now. And every event I go to that he's at, you know, we'll talk. We'll talk about things. We'll talk about like the games, how they went, you know, how he's feeling, how the team's feeling. He was not open to talking at all, and I respected that and backed off after the Friday when we went in for rehearsals and stuff because I walked up to him and right then and there in the middle of the like first few sentences of the conversation, it really felt like he was just not in the mood to talk to anyone, and it felt like that for the rest of the weekend. And it was weird, but you know I figured fuck it, if he's in the zone, let him be, man. It's not my job to come in here and fucking screw up his mindset. But it definitely seemed like something was off, and I don't know if it's fair to say that translated into play. I don't know what's going on in his personal life. I'm not here to talk about his personal life, but as far as the professional play that was demonstrated, um, it was lackluster in comparison to previous runs, and I think that's really where. And I think it's also important to note that EG, despite Troy not having the best weekend, still made it to the grand final, and we're one round away from bringing North America another Pro League championship.
yeah,
Man, the wheels kind of fucking came off, but props to everyone else for getting the bus there, I guess. I mean, it is a team sport at the end of the day. It's a fact of life that if one person's dragging you down, you still got to pick them up. You still got to bring them along with you. You can't leave them behind. So the rest of the team tried their best, and I mean, fuck it. One bounce goes a different way. We're saying North America's back on top. We're saying Evil Geniuses are back on top. We're forgetting about Troy's lackluster performance. Maybe it's an anecdote, but it's not the prime focus. And we're talking about Empire and how maybe, you know, because they got pretty dismantled on Oregon.
yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
You know what? Legitimately, this is a difference, and this is why everyone loves Siege so much. The difference between us talking about this now and talking about how the Empire train finally fell off, how the Russian machine broke, is a split probably 0.3 seconds for Young to switch from the MX4 Storm to the Bailiff and actually be able to shoot. Because if he was able to shoot while switching to the Bailiff, he would have killed, I believe it was Scyther on Empire in that 1v1 upstairs right next to the kids' dorm's door, and he would have won that gunfight, and EG would have won the tournament. That's all it would. That's all it would have taken. 0.3 seconds more of Scyther not peeking him, and Evil Geniuses wins that tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, fuck, man, I don't even know where to go. Like, where else to go with that story other than fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It sucks. It sucks, man, because as everyone knows, and especially Flynn and I both know, we have a lot of people from around the world that listen to our podcast, and we love all of you so very much. But you guys know that him and I are both we're NA boys. That's how we are. This is the thing. I love people and I respect people that love their region and like to see competition between other regions. Flynn and I respect EU. We respect Latam. We cast all of these teams. You know, so we love you guys. It's great. And I love good competition. It just sucks when you've been at the bottom and people trying to put you at the bottom of the barrel for so long and you know your region can perform. And then you finally get to that point just for the rug to get pulled out from under you at the last second. Like I told Flynn after that entire thing, I was like, I would have much rather gotten fucking stomped into the dirt in the finals. I mean, like Empire is an amazing team rather than go up 6-3 and all it would have taken was someone not to rotate to the top of white. And that's it. You know, it's fucking hard, dude. It's so hard. Oh man. Just again, that's what I've said it a million times on our podcast, dude. It's all about the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, and Evil Geniuses just made more. And Empire knew how to capitalize. I mean, of all teams right now in the game, I think that's what Empire thrives the most on, is being able to capitalize on the little errors that their opponent makes. Whether it's that they play the information game the best or what, I really don't know. It's really hard to tell you because with the current heads up display and everything that we have as casters and even in VOD review and everything, we can't break down where they're placing drones, who's on cams at what time, all that kind of stuff. We can't tell you. We don't have information like that yet for this game. The API isn't good enough. So once we get to that point, we'll be able to present you guys that information. But right now, if I had to, throw just fucking try and knock a ball out of the park, I'm going to guess that is what Empire's bread and butter is just their ability to capitalize on information of errors that the enemy team is making quickly, because their pacing, as you guys have seen, is not slow. They move very quickly through maps. So I'm going to assume it's something along those lines.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked to, were you there when I was talking to Magnet at the after party?
I was very drunk along with you, so I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Anyway, I was talking.
What was the conversation? I'll tell you if I was there.
I was just talking to Magnet outside at the after party, talking about like the Empire game and stuff, and obviously other things. But the Empire game came up, and he's like, "Fuck, man, you're being spotted. You've been spotted. You've been spotted. You've been spotted. It's all this flashing on my fucking screen." And I'm like, yeah, their drone works pretty fucking nuts, and that's, like you said, unfortunately one of the factors that we don't get to take into account. We can talk about whether or not the drone survived in prep phase, and that's about all the info we get on drones for the rest of the game, unless we accidentally swap into a POV where someone's droning. And outside of that, I mean, there's not a lot we can break down from an analytical standpoint, because there's not a lot of data. You can't analyze what isn't in front of you. Mm-hmm. So I definitely think that Empire still have this incredible backbone of the fundamentals down, and that is what props them up to be one of the best teams in the world. It was that way back when fucking Joystick was the only one doing anything on the team and just carrying the lifeless body that was Empire back in Challenger League and back in October for the Euro Cup and stuff like that. It was literally just everyone feed intel to Joystick and let Joystick go run rough shot. And now that's obviously changed. It's a very different team dynamic. But I think those fundamentals are still there. And I think that's really what set them apart. And for EG, I don't know. Everyone's saying hire a sports psychologist. I don't disagree at this point. I really don't. I
don't disagree either.
I mean, it's got to be mental. It's got to be. Because the team is too fucking good to not push themselves over the precipice when they have the opportunity. Because, I mean, what did Empire win? 6 rounds in a row? They were down 6-3. Sorry, they won 5 rounds in a row.
They won 5 rounds in a row.
Yeah. They push it to 6-6, and then win the next 2.
Trust me, I've seen enough memes to be able to tell you.
Yo, the Pro League subreddit is just a minefield of fucking EG memes. I love it.
Yeah, they're setting them on fire, buddy.
Oh, I love that shit. I don't know what is the better game to play. Actually seeing the memes and appreciate how fucking funny the memes are, or the EG fans that are getting butthurt in the comments.
Oh, dude, the butthurt fans are probably like, you didn't think this was gonna happen, you fucking idiot. Like, what?
Oh, it's so great. It's just like, some of you clearly do not follow either a bad sports team or just traditional sports in general, and it shows. Because holy fuck, I have heard about a game from 2013, 6 years ago, every single day of my life as a Leafs fan. The Golden State Warriors threw a 3-1 lead against the Cavs in the finals in 2015 or 2016. I can't remember which one, because the Warriors are always there. But they threw a 3-1 lead in the finals to LeBron and the Cavs. And 3-1 leads were a meme for another fucking year and a half straight. 3-1 leads were a meme the next time those teams played in the finals the next year. Shut the fuck up. Oh no, you have to go through a week of memes? Oh no, poor you. Oh, poor baby. Shut the fuck up! Oh my god. Dude. I've heard about it was 4-1 every single waking breath of my life since 2013. And before that, I heard about the 10-year playoff drought. And before that, we hadn't won a cup since 67. Oh wait, that still gets thrown in my face. Shut up! Holy shit!
They just
You
don't
people,
understand how bad it can be, dude.
you people don't understand. Like, this is what happens. This is what happens. Get the fuck over it. The memes are hilarious, man. The memes are fucking... Dude, that Kanye album meme, I was in a Denny's with my grandmother and, like, the rest of my extended family, and I was almost on the floor crying, laughing.
I legitimately was sitting there. I was like, why does this not have more upvotes? I was like, what the fuck? Like, you guys, first of all, if you guys don't know these Kanye albums, get some fucking culture. Second of all, like,
holy shit, that was so fucking good. And there was actual, like, work put into it, man. Did you see, like, the secret logo?
Dude, the secret logo was sick.
Dude, that guy actually put, like, hours of work into that. That was fucking clean as fuck, and it was hilarious. Oh, and then all of the comments are just like, oh, why are you guys ranting on EG so much? Why is this whole subreddit just EG memes? Shut the fuck up. God damn. Gotta live on the rough side for fucking 3 goddamn days. Like, cry me a fucking river. Holy shit.
I love you, Flynn.
Oh, sorry, that just pisses me off, man.
They just don't get it, dude. You don't understand what pain is until your team gets shit on year on year on year on year on year for fucking decades. Welcome to being a Cubs fan, motherfucker.
Yeah, like, really.
Oh my god. Dude,
Cubs fan, Bears fan.
Half of you guys probably, half of you guys probably don't even know what the fucking GOAT curse is. Like, Flynn knows. That shit's fucked. Then we finally broke our drought in 2016 after 107 years. You're gonna be okay, sweetheart. It's fine.
Yeah, I love that. Dude, appreciate the memes. The memes are fucking hilarious. They're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I want you guys to realize this real quick, and then we'll move on. My great grandmother is still alive, and she's 89 years old. The entire time up to 2016, she's been a Cubs fan, and they had never won a World Series. They won a World Series when she was 86 years old. 80 fucking 6. Hello? Could you imagine being the fan of a team for your entire life and they don't do dick shit until you're 86 years old?
Yes, because the Leafs won't win anything until I die.
You're probably right.
And you see, you embrace it. The meme is part of your fandom. Shut the fuck up, you butthurt. And I know it's not all EG fans. Also, you guys want to know a secret? I'm an EG fan. I've been an EG fan for a very fucking long time. I don't care about the memes. They're fucking hysterical. And I know it's not all EG fans. I can just name 3, which I won't, but I can name you butthurt motherfuckers. Shut the fuck up. Moving on.
You guys will be alright. Anyway.
Do we not know what we're talking about next? Because that's Milan.
I guess we're talking about Milan. Let's get it.
What about Milan? We already finished Milan. What else did we talk about Milan?
I'm saying we'll run through our games. Just run
okay.
Talk about our thoughts and what because a lot of people want to know our process between us on how we go through games and just our thoughts on stuff.
Sure.
So, all right. So the first game that you and I casted was Dark Zero versus Team Empire. Obviously, best of 3. And the first map that we casted ended up being Bank. We already kind of broke that down about how the fuck did this even get through the ban phase. We honestly thought that Dark Zero was going to be able to win this. Literally, when the ban phase went through, Flynn and I were not on mic yet. Actually, no, I think we were on mic, weren't we?
No, we weren't.
Okay. We weren't on mic yet. And Flynn and I look at each other after the ban phase and we go, Dark Zero just won this ban phase. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Cleanly. Like, it's over. Like, this is a 2-0. Like, what?
Yep. So, obviously, starts out and Dark Zero and Empire end up splitting, right? On their first Empire's offensive set. So Empire starts on offense and they split with Dark Zero. So it's 3-3 at the half. So they're like, okay, that's a pretty good starting point. Dark Zero immediately puts more points on the board. They go 4. Empire rolls right back to it to 4. And we're like, oh, okay, so we're just going to continue on the teeter-totter. That's fine. Well, then Dark Zero strings 2 together. They go tellers on a perfect round and then go to CEO and get another round. So they're 1 round off from winning this 7-4. We're like, oh shit. Okay. Well, they have lockers unlocked right now. So they can go back down to lockers, which they just won. Dark Zero's on offense. So Dark Zero is going really, really well. They end up winning the tellers round perfect. Empire had already won lockers. That was the second round that they won. So that's when it went 4-4. Then Dark Zero ends up winning the next round when Empire's on tellers in a perfect round, which means that they didn't have anybody die. All of Empire died. Then right after that, they try going to CEO, and they lose it in Hannibal fashion. I believe that I believe that Dark Zero only lost 2 bodies. So they ended up winning the round 3-man up still. So, but after that, they're able to go back down to lockers. So Flynn and I figured that they're going to be able to get lockers, but we thought that they would end up losing Tellers or CEO. So we thought it ended a 7-5, but it didn't. Empire ends up having a fucking wild round on CEO because if you guys remember, I know Flynn's gonna remember this, but the CEO plant that went off should have never have fucking happened because for how good Empire is with information, and as Magnet said, you've been spotted, you've been spotted, you've been spotted. They literally just walked into CEO office and planted behind the desk, and everyone was still alive. That does not happen ever.
That was anarchy. That was fucking like we lost our shit. So it was a minute in, and I was on the call for this, and I'm talking about usual bullshit. I'm talking about, you know, how this person's over here by banana. We're literally I can see it clear as fucking day in my mind. We're on an Empire Defender. They're inside like the middle conference room where the other bomb is.
Smoke. It's Smoke. I think it's Scyther.
Okay, I don't even remember the operator, but I remember he's looking at the north windows because Nyx is on rappel as the ash
Shepherd,
on the north
Shepherd.
rappel.
Sorry.
So Buddy's looking at north windows, and I'm rambling on about some bullshit. Like I'm lost in the sauce right now. And all of a sudden, I see in the top right hand of my corner, it's just hot and cold's planting. There's 2 minutes left. It's 5v5. All they've done is literally open up the left panel. Who gives? Yeah, fuck it, plant. Fuck it, plant. Fuck it. Just fuck it. Plant. And they did. And they won the round. And it was fucking anarchy. And that kind of shit was right there. I was like, yo. Hello? Dark Zero could win this whole game. They're going to win the map. We're going to go to Oregon. Mint's going to run Blitz. It's going to be fucking hilarious. They're taking it 2-0. I'm going to be right. Yeah, no, I was again. I was a little wrong.
Just a little?
Just a little. They ran it back. They pushed to overtime, and they won 8-7 on Bank, man. Fucking.
Oh, you don't say.
Flip a fucking coin, and that game goes differently, man.
Yep.
Any gunfight.
I mean, that was a lot of Empire's games, to be completely honest, now that I'm thinking about it. That was a lot of Empire's games over the weekend. Like, just map-wise, where you flip a coin and Empire loses, but they pull me right back in. Like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole story, and I think we should probably table this debate for another day when we have more time to kind of break it down. But we've talked about it with Ranger in the past as well, talking about how the seasonal land should be double elimination.
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see
as
the fuck out of that.
Challenger League playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll get cooking here. So map 2 was Oregon. That's obviously Empire winning that 7-3. It was a fucking stomp. They banned Blitz. That's really
tough.
all you need to know. So, because Blitz is something that Mint really, really likes on Oregon. He likes it when he can get his hands on it, but Oregon especially, because Oregon, they really can't run away from him. So, there is that. Next match that you and I casted was EG versus IMT, and this was a fucking fun game. So, right off the bat, we have map 1 Oregon, which, as we said, was the stomp fest up until the finals. EG ends up beating IMT 7-2. Absolutely just fucking puts them into the dirt. So next up, we have Coastline. And you and I both thought after that game of them just getting absolutely destroyed that it was going to be a walk in the park. And it was anything but. So in the first half, Evil Geniuses ends up splitting 4-2. They were on offense. We're like, okay, that's pretty good. Traditionally speaking, Coastline can go either way. It's kind of on a pendulum. Sometimes it's offensive sided, sometimes it's defensive sided. It just depends on what teams are playing the map. So we end up getting to the latter half of the game, and Evil Geniuses goes up on hot start. So IMT picks up the first round on double bar, Evil Geniuses goes double bar first. IMT wins that, so they ended up winning that on offense. EG goes to hookah right after that, wins that round, so they're at 5-3. Then they go to kitchen and win that, so they're 6-3, and we're like, okay. And now that I'm looking at it now, this kind of telltales a sign of what the fuck was coming for the future. But after that, IMT strings 4 rounds together. double bar, hookah, kitchen, hookah again, and they go 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we went to overtime, and IMT's one round off of pushing this to map 3. So EG finally dislodges their head from their ass, goes to hookah, wins that, goes to kitchen, ends up winning it 8-7. A couple of thoughts on that. The first one is that PX is actually a really, really good pickup for Immortals. PX performed really, really well. I will say one thing though, Navi's is a fucking nut. That man is a nutty fragger. It was really showing out on Coastline.
Yeah, Coast for me, I mean, for EG Immortals, I even talked to Muhammad at the after party, the coach for Immortals, if anyone's curious. I was with Calera and Marcella and Michael, and we're talking to Muhammad about it, and he was just like, yeah, man, like we couldn't really get a grip. And for Oregon to kind of turn that way on us, it was demoralizing. And I could really see that. You could see it in their play too. We even noted on it on the last 2 rounds of the broadcast where it's like they were just sending it into sight in the first, 30 seconds or so each round in the last couple rounds on Oregon, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. And Coastline was a lot closer, don't get me wrong, but EG looked like they had their number inside and out. It looked like Immortals really didn't stand much of a chance, which is tough because that's a team that looks really strong. And they went undefeated until week 13, which is also something that I think was really, really underplayed for a lot of the lead up into this and a lot of the build up. A lot of the reporting wasn't really talking about how miraculous that was, that they were the last standing undefeated team until week 14, when the only team to beat them was FaZe, who went undefeated in the second half. And, I said that EG would win the tournament. I said that EG would beat Immortals. I did not think it would be this easy, though. I did not think that Immortals really weren't going to look like they were there. And that's kind of what it looked like on Oregon, too. It was individual efforts, and I know I said that on the broadcast as well, but it stands to reason that it's still true. It was individual efforts from one player making a star performance in each round. And Immortals, a lot like EG, need the full team rolling. There are teams out there, fucking, what was it, Rise? Rise can usually rely on Hyper, and whoever the secondary fragger is in that specific game, to go off and kind of carry the charge if they needed to. It was usually at the back half, it was Hyper and Crazy. Same thing with Rogue. If Vert gets a little bit of a tear and the rest of the team isn't really, showing up, then, they can get by. Obviously, that was Empire's MO for a very, very long time. But there's a lot of teams out there as well that rely on everyone cooking, everyone being ready to play. And it looked like a couple members of Immortals that weren't the big 3, Cyber, Bullet, and Navi's. If those 3 aren't all working together, and the supporting cast also isn't, I guess, even just shaping up with comms or staying alive very long, it gets to them. And it fucks them up. It throws them off tilt. If they're not, like, midway through a round at a 5v something in favor of them, it really does screw with them. And it was evident here. EG were getting early picks, and it really looked like Immortals just couldn't stick together as a team with what was left. They needed to be 5 on the board, or things were going to start to spiral into anarchy, and that was kind of tough to watch, honestly, especially if you're an Immortals fan, who for the last 2 tournaments now, you didn't make, or last 3 tournaments really, you didn't make it out of groups at SI in a pretty tough group. I mean, at the time we said Group B was going to be the toughest group at SI because Rogue looked great heading into SI. And now Rogue has fallen off a little bit, so our recency bias on opinions of teams definitely weighs into that. But for Immortals to not make it out and Space Station to claw through, we obviously on this podcast love Space Station and have a lot of faith in that team. But Immortals also look like they could have been a real contender. You didn't make it out of groups at SI. So you're at Rio. And you get bounced in the first round at Rio. Now you get bounced in the first round in Milan. And none of the games look close. Not a single one of those fucking games look close, man. That Immortals Rogue game that happened in the group stage at SI is probably the closest game Immortals have had in an international LAN in the last 6 months. And that was a dumpster fire. Me and Michael casted that one, and I constantly refer to it. And Gassan even brings it back because he witnessed how truly trash that game was. That game is heralded, for me anyway, as one of the worst games I've ever casted, one of the worst games of professional Siege I've ever witnessed, and honestly, it looked like who was trying to lose the least. And if that's your star performance in the last 6 months on an international LAN, that's an issue. Someone's got to wake the fuck up. The rest of the team needs to come together. They got to find a way to work with what they got, not always be in a perfect situation.
I completely agree with you. I think that they still have a couple of humps to get over, but as for mechanical skill, they're ridiculous. And if they can continue to build on that, I think that they're going to thrive. Again, we've talked about it before with teams developing and just trying to help people out with that kind of stuff. Find out what your team is good at. Obviously, they know what they're good at, and continue to build with that. Just build around those mechanics, and they will show you really how far they can get you. So I think that team has, I think that team has what it takes to be the absolute powerhouse of LATAM, especially after what we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. So
yeah, I guess let's just jump into that. It's been,
I mean, we can because we got to talk about them next in our last game.
Oh, yeah, true.
So next up, we have Evil Geniuses and an organization that's got a lot of flack recently, and it's continuing down that line in the Rainbow Six community. FaZe. So this was the semis at Milan, where a lot of crazy shit happened. Some very, very close games. So first map was Clubhouse, ended up in a 7-5. At the split, we had EG in the lead 4-2 on their offensive set. Switch it over. EG ended up taking it 7-5 on the latter half on defense. FaZe fought back actually quite a bit, especially from their defensive set, because it started off 4-2, you guys, as I said earlier. And Club isn't traditionally a map that you start off that poorly. It still is pretty defender-sided, even now a lot of teams have figured out how to be really, really good on offense, hence Empire, where they're making stupid things happen like 5-1 on Clubhouse on their offensive sets, which is truly ridiculous. But I guess with maps that are just that old, even with a refresher to it, it's still basically the same map. Just with construction now, and that we now have a site upstairs that actually works properly. So besides that fact, after that, we ended up going to Border, where things got a little bit drastic. And also we reached our peak. High five to me and Flynn. Peak viewership for the entire tournament. So 190,000 people watching, which thank God that they don't keep a view counter on the desk, because Flynn and I probably would have been fucking swallowing our nuts if we knew that. So it's just a fucking lot of people. That shit's crazy. It blows me away when we get done and we're like, oh shit, that was 190,000 people. Like, what the fuck, it's fucking wild. Anyways, so FaZe and EG start off the exact same way. And it was very, very weird, because up until a certain point, Flynn and I felt like we were watching the same game, just on a different map. So it ends up going 4-2. Again, EG on their offensive side, FaZe on their defense. FaZe only one armory on their defensive sets. So we swap sides. FaZe wins back armory twice. EG goes there, and then EG goes a third time. Flynn and I look at each other. I'm like, okay, well, traditionally speaking, third time is the charm. Maybe there's going to be an adjustment that they want to make, that they feel like they're getting punished on, that they're going to be able to fix now. So their adjustment wasn't that good. It was pretty lackluster, but little did we know they had this pocket strat, and it's called Young killing everybody. And that's exactly what Young did. Young stood at mini door and killed 4 people in the span of 8 seconds in a 1 versus 4 as smoke with an SMG-11 and an M590. And it was the most batshit crazy thing I have ever seen on Border. I would probably put it over the clutch not the clutch, the ace of Hungaries that we casted at SI. That clip of Young literally just murdering everyone in the span of 8 seconds was truly ridiculous. And if you guys go back and watch that clip, I was on call for that, because we really didn't even think that the round was going. Like, I was already halfway through I was getting prepared to break down the round and what had happened because they were basically getting a pinch going on from CC. So they were bringing in 2 onto Armory Locker's wall, pushing 2 up through beepers or metal detector, and pinching through Armory that way. They already had wiped out everybody over inside of Archives in the office area, so it was just down to the 2 people inside of sight. So I believe it was Netcrox and Young, the last 2 alive. Netcrox kills 1 and immediately gets traded out. So now it's a 4 versus 1. And they're pushing 2 on each side of Young. So he kills 2 people at Metal Detector, flips around the M590, and kills the other 2 on the other side. Complete misplay from FaZe, but oh my fuck, was that ridiculous.
Yeah, so what was happening there is I accidentally sent you the call because the round was winding down and I was like, okay, yeah, fuck it, like the round's over, the round's done, like let's get some analysis going so we can talk about this when the round ends in the next 6 seconds when Young dies. And I was like, okay, send it to Sam. Let's start. Like, and I'm already thinking about what I want to analyze. Young staring down the barrel of 2 people walking in metal at him, and I'm thinking about, okay, how did this Armory wall attack go? What needs to change for EG? You know, why did Troy and Necrox, like, how did their flanks both fuck up? You know, like, I'm already thinking about all these things in the back of my head, and then I see Young pick up the 2-piece with the SMG, and I go, oh shit. Oh shit, it's doable. It's doable. I look up at the health bar and I'm like, oh fuck, it's so doable. It's so goddamn doable. Whips out the shotgun, he grabs the 2. I just fucking like, I couldn't believe it happened because I was already like you in the mind of, let's get to the next round. Let's talk about what the fuck just happened. Let's try and break. No, Young decided to say go fuck yourself to both of us and everyone else watching at home cheering for FaZe, and single-handedly brought the round back. And I think that was the moment at which FaZe tilted off the face of the fucking earth, because even when the game was over, everyone at FaZe were still arguing with each other. And that's an issue as well. If the game's done and you're still bitching to each other about shit, there's a problem. And we talk about Latin American teams and how they can be emotional and how they're very intense, for lack of a better term, honestly. But it's the teams that keep their emotions in check in those incredible moments. E.g. Empire, example G2. You know, there's teams out there that have faced incredible adversity and had to pull off miraculous comebacks in very, very dire situations. They still pull it off. It's because they remain level-headed. They remain reserved and themselves and conscientious of what the team chemistry is looking like in that moment. You know, you talk about SI-18. It's the best game of the finals of that tournament, being the best game of Siege ever played. And I still agree with that stance. And honestly, if that documentary hadn't come out a little bit later, showing Fabian hyping everyone up backstage, I don't think the story would have been told as well. Because in that moment, Fabian's talking about not losing. Fabian's talking about getting the team back together. Fabian's talking about, we're going to go out there and win the next fucking 3 maps in a row. You know how long that is? That's 3 hours, dude. That's another 3 hours. You got your backs against the wall. Any one mistake and it's over. That's the kind of resiliency you need. Not bickering amongst each other about who fucked up what individual play on a map that ultimately is forgotten in the grand scheme of things. We'll talk about the EG Empire final for days and months and possibly even years to come. We won't talk about the EG FaZe game. All you got to worry about is in that moment what matters. And bickering with each other about something that doesn't matter is not going to help you. And it's tough because I think I've said it every single tournament now. I believe in FaZe. And this was the one tournament in the last, 7 where I haven't picked FaZe to go deep. I didn't even pick them to win the first round. Lestream kind of botched that up for me.
Lestream fucked me so hard.
Lestream fucked everyone. A lot of people picked Lestream to win. And I don't disagree. I thought they looked good. That game was the battle of who's going to choke the least on LAN. And it turned out to be FaZe. And FaZe looked really strong, though, in their game against Lestream. It didn't honestly look like it was so much Lestream losing that game as it was just FaZe winning. And I know I use that analogy a lot in the inverse, where I talk about how a team looks like they're just straight losing a game they could be in. Because it happens a lot, where teams just kind of choke, and they don't look like themselves. They look like ghosts in the shell. This game, FaZe Lestream was different. turn it on its head a little bit, you wait another day, and all of a sudden it's FaZe EG, and the same kind of storylines are breaking down for FaZe. This happens at a lot of LAN events where they're getting pissed at each other, and they can't find cohesion. Again, everyone's, bitching at each other. Everyone is looking 90 different directions for a place to lay blame, as opposed to looking upon themselves and looking at a solution, not just the problem. So for FaZe and EG, I think they both could benefit quite a lot from a sports psychologist coming in. I wouldn't be at all shocked to see EG and FaZe in the top 4 of Raleigh if they both have a little bit of time with a sports psychologist behind the scenes to kind of fix some of this shit up. And I don't know if either of them will pull the trigger on it, but I'd highly recommend it. Because at this point, for both of these teams, it does seem mental more than actual ability. So you want to get into the FaZe drama now?
Oh, do I?
Okay, so to break this down for anyone who has been living under a rock for the last week, at least in terms of the Tfue contract, and I know we're a Rainbow Six podcast. We don't talk about other shit. We talk about esports in general. The good thing is, there's a connection here. So FaZe Clan came under fire last week when they received notice that they were being sued by one of their members of their Fortnite competitive team. They don't even have a team, though. They're just like Fortnite competitive players. Competitive Fortnite is weird, and I know you tweeted about it a little while ago. It's $100 million clusterfuck, and
yep,
yeah,
it's the most expensive clusterfuck that's ever. Never mind, the U.S. government still exists.
There you go.
Take that back.
There you go.
That was a good one. Ooh, I'm on fire today. Let's get it.
So FaZe is under fire for this contract, and if you don't know the particulars on the contract, I'm not going to go into fucking detail about it. There are other resources out there for you to utilize to learn about this. The one resource that I will really definitely send your direction, though, will be the Score Esports doing a breakdown of it. Did 2 videos about it, and it is pretty helpful. I definitely learned a lot from the situation by watching those videos. They're about 20 minutes a piece, so if you have the time, you really want to delve into it, and you like contract law and stuff like this, like I do, then it'll be a good thing for you. If you don't like the minutia and you just want someone to yell at and you want to grab your pitchforks, then head to Twitter, because it's free, and God knows, Twitter's a fucking cesspool. So anyway, this situation is basically Tfue saying, look, I'm signed for another 2.5 years. I don't want to be signed for another 2.5 years. I'm going to say some shit to get out of this, and I'm going to sue you to break my contract. Happens all the time. Players on teams in all professional sports sign contracts for a little longer term than they probably should, because they didn't like the bet on themselves contract because they were going to lessen the short term, and they didn't really realize they were going to explode. One of the best examples of this in the NHL world was William Karlsson last year for the Vegas Golden Knights. He got traded to Vegas before they were even a team by Columbus, because they didn't want Vegas to use an expansion draft pick on one of their other players. So he was this fucking castaway. He was like, dude, the whole Columbus organization just basically shit in his mouth and said, you are so bad, we don't want you at all, that we're literally gonna trade you to a team that doesn't fucking exist yet, just so they don't take another one of our players. He then goes around the next season to go on a Stanley Cup Finals run with the team and score 47 goals in the regular season, which is a lot, by the way. The most ever scored in a regular season, at least in the modern era, is 60 by Stamkos in 2011. Before that, it was like 73. So William Karlsson has a banger of a year, but he doesn't have a contract anymore because it just expired. So instead of going for term, he signs a 1-year deal to try and bet on himself. And this year, he didn't score 47, so he's not going to get signed to a shit ton of money. Same thing kind of happens here with Tfue. He signed to a 3-year deal. He explodes the fuck up. He's just the biggest name on Twitch. He's one of the best competitive Fortnite players in the entire world. And he's looking at his contract going, fuck. If I wasn't signed to FaZe, they wouldn't be taking some of my money right now. So then you turn over to Rainbow Six, and we get an article being put out. And it's always tough to gauge some of these things from Latin America Twitter, because Latin American R6 Twitter is all in Portuguese. There is no English whatsoever. And that's tough to translate. Even while trying to use Google Translate and stuff, you kind of need a person who speaks Portuguese and English to convey tone and to convey colloquialisms that we won't pick on with Google Translate. So CGG has someone come in and translate a lot of audio clips that are being sent around and a lot of tweets that are being sent, and a lot of, I guess, noise that's being put out, and they're trying to piece it together into one article that has enough context to explain the situation without trying to bog you down. And I think that's another, again, good resource that I would point you towards if you want to read up on the subject. Right now, both FaZe Clan and Black Dragons are being accused of match fixing. And this was the only Latin American game that I didn't cast all season, at least in the back half of Season 9. And it was FaZe versus Black Dragons. And if you try and go look up this score of this game on Wikipedia, it won't have a score. Because it was a default win because Black Dragons disconnected from the lobby 3 times in the same game, and they called it a forfeit 7-0 for FaZe. This was also back when FaZe was not 7-0 in the back half, they were 3-0 in the back half and still out of the playoff picture. So, apparently, according to PZD and Ion, apparently they came together and said, look, Black Dragons will throw this game inside of Pro League for you guys to give us a win inside of BR6. Now, the whole give us a win in Pro League so we take an L for you in BR6 doesn't make a lot of sense right now because the BR6 standings, to the best of my recollection and understanding of the league, which is very limited, albeit, says that there's already like land spots locked up for Brazil for BR6. So I'm trying to pull it up again right now. Why is it so hard to find BR6 in any of this anyway? There it is. So yeah, it says that Liquid and FaZe already have land spots locked. Like they're both in first place and they're both green. And I don't know. So I don't know what's going on there. The whole talk about trading it for shit doesn't make any sense. And for Black Dragons right now, it looks like they're kind of dicked as far as a playoff run goes for BR6. Yeah, they could make the playoffs in BR6. It makes a little more sense, but it makes a hell of a lot less sense for FaZe anyway in this whole arrangement. And now this is all coming to light through Twitter and through Ty. And if you don't remember Ty, I believe he was a coach for Black Dragons at the 6th Invitational 2018. So this would have been the roster that's now NIP. I believe anyway. I could be completely wrong on that, but I remember seeing his name associated with that team for some reason. Anyway, he's listed in the CGG article as an ex-analyst for Black Dragons. Not really sure which iteration of the Black Dragons roster he's talking about there, but he's an ex-analyst for Black Dragons, one team. I'm pretty sure it's the team that's now NIP, but I'm not 100% on that. Regardless, he goes to Twitter and starts crying wolf and saying, look, they're gonna fix this match. And then a bunch of other proof comes out on the opposite side. So you got Cherry Gums, co-owner of Black Dragons. That's the chick that's in the PayPal advertisements. And I'm sure you've seen her plenty of places. She was on stage with Black Dragons at SI18 behind the bench, and she's a co-owner as well of the organization. She comes out with a bunch of WhatsApp screenshots from messages from that game saying that, you know, the power in the whole house went out, the internet went down in the team house that Black Dragons has in Brazil, and they're trying to refute it to the best possibility. But I think the one thing we can say without a question is that match fixing is another endeavor that we haven't personally had to go through so far anyway in Rainbow Six, but we should probably talk about what the consequences should be if they're both found guilty.
I agree with you. So we'll break them down. I guess we can talk about what has happened in the past with things along those lines and kind of esports. If you want to go over that real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I will do that since you just had your good little rant of.
I wanted a rant there. Yeah.
So this is something I follow Counter-Strike extremely close. If you guys didn't know, so Counter-Strike is one of my favorite games to watch competitively, along with Rainbow Six Siege. So they've already had a match fixing scandal in the past, and if you guys follow CS at all, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. This is concerning iBuyPower versus Netcode Guides, which at the time, iBuyPower was an up-and-coming team with Cud, Deborn, Daze, Swag, AZK, and Steel on the roster. Okay, so most notably Swag, which is a sub for C9, or used to be at least. I believe he actually still is on the current roster as a sub, but Swag was an up-and-coming, extremely prominent player and he got kind of caught in the backlash of this as well. So I believe, if I remember correctly, their main roster was Daze, Swag, AZK, Steel, and Skadoodle at the time, but Skadoodle did not get caught up in this mess. So they basically threw the game against Netcode Guides for some skins and some money that was set up by Casey Foster. So Steam, or excuse me, not Steam, Valve, which makes Counter-Strike, released at a later date after, these messages had been released about what had happened, things along those lines, released a update on their page called Integrity and Fair Play. And basically, I can give you just the real. Actually, I'll just read it for you guys. So they basically said that they could confirm the historical activity of relevant accounts, that a substantial number of high valued items won from that match by Duck Cud Fam were transferred via Deborn to iBuyPower's players and Netcode Guides founder Casey Foster. So basically, as you can tell from that, it was a setup between the two teams, so on and so forth. And the punishment for that was this: professional players and managers and teams' organization staff should under no circumstances gamble on CSGO matches associated with high-volume CSGO gamblers or deliver information to others that might influence their CSGO bets. In 2014, we witnessed the explosive growth of CSGO as a competitive esport, and in 2015 has already started strong. But as CSGO grows, it's important to consider the substantial impact as individual professional Counter-Strike players has on the health and stability of their sport. Performing before an audience of millions of fans, they are ambassadors of their game. The strength of professional Counter-Strike comes from the integrity and of its players and teams. Therefore, everyone named in the current list, which was Cud, Deborn, Casey Foster, Daze, Swag, AZK, and Steel, were all banned from competitive Counter-Strike, from any event that was held by Valve. So that includes majors and anything down to, I believe it was DreamHacks and a couple of other tournaments that they could possibly attend that Swag was able to play in. But they were banned inevitably at the time, which later got sent to a lighter sentence. But at the time was a massive deal. So basically what we're trying to tell you is that FaZe and Black Dragon's rosters, coaches, everyone involved could be banned from Rainbow Six Siege, either inevitably or for a Shaiko ban being 2 years. So we will have to see. But if that comes to be true, this is not good for LATAM.
It's not good for LATAM. It's not good for FaZe. It's not good for Black Dragons, who have been a staple in Latin American Pro League forever. And honestly, so the one benefit of this is the game that FaZe were supposed to throw against Black Dragons in BR6 has not happened yet, and it won't happen for another month or so. Apparently it's scheduled for June 30th. So all this coming out now leaves FaZe with a pretty obvious choice. Beat Black Dragons. And a lot of this will be silenced, most likely. The problem is that even the prospect of match fixing in any way has to be met with punishment. Now, the real question is you talked about this case with CSGO. It's a very high-profile case. Everyone knows what the fuck it is. I don't fault Counter-Strike for shit, and I've known about this for years. The problem is that they're Valve, the actual distributor of the game. When they were a little more hands-on with CSGO versus now where they're completely hands-off.
I was gonna say no. Valve is completely hands off unless something like that happens. That's it. Like Valve does not give a flying fuck. Like Flynn and I both talked to Blue. Valve is the most hands off company in the fucking world. Like shit's wild.
For them to get involved was big. The question is, Ubisoft is much more hands on with Siege in comparison to Valve and CSGO. Does Ubisoft get involved in this? Because we have not seen that from them before. Ubisoft, while they're very hands-on with the game, and they obviously help orchestrate and run the Pro League and every competitive event that involves professional play, we've never seen them get in on anything like a ban. It's always been left to the discretion of ESL. The problem is that while part of the match fixing involves an ESL event, it also involves a strictly Ubisoft LATAM event, which is BR6. BR6 has absolutely no relation to ESL. It's not run by ESL. It's not performed by ESL. It's not managed by ESL. It's completely separate. It's a Ubisoft-only project. So at that point, you gotta wonder if Ubi starts poking their head in and going, "Hi, how are ya?" And there's actually quite a few scenarios that can come from this that I'm a little concerned about. Ubisoft could jump the gun here and give them all lifetime bans, which I think would be devastating for the scene. We probably lose FaZe as an organization in the entirety of Rainbow Six, given their current circumstances. They probably don't want any more PR nightmares. And then we're also losing some of the best Latin American players of all time. Who had the best rating in Milan? Astra. Who has been a staple in Latin American play throughout the entirety of Brazilian Pro League in its existence has been Astra. So I find it, and Cameraman, and I find it hard to believe that Ubisoft would really shove a shank into the hearts of Brazilian fans who are also tough to deal with at times, and give them lifetime bans. But if this is proven true, and again, these are all allegations right now. This is not concrete fact. This is allegations from a bitter ex-analyst on the team. They're harsh allegations to be made, and of course everyone would have forethought when it comes into making those allegations, so hopefully it's not all bullshit and a waste of our time. Although part of me does hope it is all bullshit so that we don't lose anyone. But punishment for this needs to be severe. And I actually can't think of a number in my head that's fair. I think if you gotta follow precedent that other esports have set, then CSGO's the precedent. And you're probably looking at lifetime bans for members involved. You gotta dig down a fucking rabbit hole to understand what the implications are there with lifetime bans for anyone who was involved, because you gotta find out who was involved. Right now, the accused stand as PZD and Ion. That's about it. So, however, I don't know how the fuck you coordinate that with the rest of your team without talking to them. And, I mean, for Ion's case, as he was just transferred from Black Dragons to FaZe right after the Invitational. So this was a month removed from being on the Black Dragons roster. For Ion, you kind of don't have to do a whole lot. You kind of just have to walk in like nothing's wrong, play your game, wait for them to DC 3 times, and you get the auto win. And you never have to say a thing to your team. But you then have to later be like, hey guys, now we got to throw this game in BR6. And like I said, they've already got their land spot locked up. So to FaZe, it ultimately doesn't matter. For Black Dragons, however, you're a team that looked strong in the back half with roster changes. Moringa coming in was a huge fit. And I mean, like I just said, Ion had just been transferred from Black Dragons to FaZe. Moringa had just been transferred from FaZe to Black Dragons. There's a lot of history already between these two teams, just with members that played on their counterparts. So there's a lot of, I guess, credibility in the story, which is terrifying. I don't know if anyone walks away from this clean. And that also terrifies me, because I don't want to lose any of these players. Think about how fucked Latin American Pro League will be if we lose all of FaZe and all of Black Dragons. It's the Liquid Immortals and NIP show, and everyone else beyond that is not up to their speed.
Flynn, we said it at LAN quite often. It's free real estate, bud. I don't know how else to really put it. I'll put it this way: 2 teams from Brazilian Challenger League are going to get into Brazilian Pro League, and as we know, the Challenger League is very hard to follow, and we don't know exactly what's there. They could be the best players in the world. We don't fucking know because no one casts it. So, it's a big ass mystery box. You're hitting the mystery box in Nazi zombies right now. Like that's it. Like who the fuck knows what's down there? But we're gonna be pulling 2 teams from there if this does happen, and it's gonna be full of a bunch of new players, bunch of new blood, and we'll see where the chips fall.
Yeah, and of course that is That is under the assumption that something happens and that there are punishments dealt. It's a tough week for FaZe, man. It's a tough week if you work at FaZe. This is a lot of PR nightmare. Maybe they could give our friends at Storyblocks a call.
Yeah, call the story mob real quick.
Sorry, yes, Story Mob, not Storyblocks.
I got you. Don't worry.
My bad. Anyway, that's kind of the FaZe drama, and I don't think there's really much else to be said because, like I said, it's going to be a fucking rabbit hole if you really want to go down. Because I mean, you could talk about certain players being banned. The CS:GO precedent as well. There are some players that have had bans alleviated or removed entirely. There are players that are still perma-banned to this day, 4 years later. You know, there's a bunch of different outcomes to this, and I'm not Doctor Strange. I can't see them all, and I don't know which one is going to be the best one. I don't know what the eventual one will be either. But for right now, it looks grim. Because I know, first off, ESL won't take this lightly at all. And Ubisoft will have to match and come to an agreement with ESL on what they want to ban these guys for if it's true. And I think, again, I should reiterate, I know I've said it a couple times now, but these are allegations. This is not proof. It's not... We are not judge, jury, and executioner here. We're just here to relay information and let you guys decide whether or not you think it's true.
Feel free to submit all complaints to the new complaint website I made, garglemytesticles.crymeariver.org.
It's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit.
Yeah, so if you have any complaints, send them right there.
Oh my fucking ass, Flynn.
Yeah, so it's tough. It's a tough look for LATAM. I'm thinking we should probably move on, because... Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to be said here until there's actually a judgment or actual proof or actual dismissal of the whole thing. So beyond that, what else do we need to talk about? We did FaZe, we did Milan. Oh, roster changes, faults to SSG. Touch that.
Yo, dude. I'm so happy for that, man.
Yeah, apparently it's true. I actually didn't hear any of it.
Well, it's not confirmed like by the org, but you know, the R6 Pro League subreddit's pretty on top of, for some reason, fucking checking every person's name under the sun on a daily basis and finding out what the fuck. So yeah, Fultz is going to be on SSG. So you heard it here first. It's going to happen. That's not from anybody on the team. Nothing. Like, that's just from the R6 Pro League subreddit. If you have eyes, you can read it. So there you go.
Yeah, we ain't out here leaking shit.
Yeah. That's not what this is about. That's not what Flynn and I do. If it becomes public knowledge, then we talk about it. But otherwise, we keep our lips sealed because we like knowing shit before you, because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you wouldn't know the shit we heard in Milan, dude. You wouldn't know the shit we heard and what we witnessed.
Dude, I love doing it to my friends because they'll like anything that like comes up on the R6 like Pro League subreddit, like when that fucking image of like the pickaxe operator got leaked. They're like, Sam, you know anything about a guy named like whatever his name is, like Subius or something? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, don't know, dude. I could not. I don't fucking know.
That's all I ever have to pull is just like, I literally don't say anything anymore. People will ask me and I'll just sit there with a blank face for like 5 seconds and they'll be like, okay, thanks.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, I ain't telling you shit, brother.
Nope. It's a lot of fun knowing. Fuck you.
It is. Actually, Alex DM'd me last night, and he was just like, I forget what he brought up, and I was like, oh, you didn't hear yet. And for anyone who's curious, Alex is Alex GZZ.
Zoronic.
He works at not Zoronic.
Okay.
He works at CGG. So obviously he knows a lot of confidential ass shit early as well, because he has to prep articles and stuff. And I hit him with the oh, you haven't heard yet.
Ooh.
So you know that thing that I was talking about when I was drunk and I forgot part of it?
Oh, you remembered?
I know, I haven't remembered yet either, which is another thing, by the way. But anyway, I haven't remembered yet, but
I hate you so much.
I got confirmation of it.
Of who it is?
Yeah.
You send that to me in Discord right now. No, I need to know. I need to know right now.
But anyway, I hit Alex with the, oh, you haven't heard yet. Oh, no.
Flynn, no, I need you to message me right now. Like, I can't. So this dumb fucker can't even tell you what team it was.
Nope.
But this dumb fucker like wakes up in the morning and he's like, "Hey, I heard about this roster move." I was like, "Who is it?" And he goes,
I don't remember.
"I don't know." I was too drunk. I don't remember. I was just like, "Oh wow, really?"
Yep.
Like, "Oh, okay." You better message me right the fuck now. I swear to God. Like I can't because if it's what I think it is and where that person's going, dude.
Hey man. Hey man.
Wait, was that right? Was that just say if I was right or not? Was that right?
I don't even remember what you said, to be honest.
God damn it, Flynn.
Yeah. Just eat a dick. Eat a big bag of fucking dicks, because I know something you don't. And it feels great. And for everyone listening back home, you can also eat a big bag of dicks, because you won't find out until it goes public. If it even does end up going public, who knows? Maybe it'll all get thrown by the wayside like the rogue shit. Who knows?
Jesus Christ.
So I guess with that, we can roll into Q&A. Because
I
we
hate
just wanted
you.
to touch on Fult's SSG.
Yep, I still
it looks
hate
like
you.
it looks like it's Chala gone.
And I still hate you.
Although last night Chala tweeted a GIF of Jon Snow being revived from the dead after he tweeted initially that his watch had ended. So I don't know if that's Chala getting picked up by a different team or if SSG changed their mind or what's going on there. But again, this is a lot of reading between the lines. And obviously, I know the answer. I'm just playing it up for the drama for the podcast.
I hate you so much, man. Now, you don't know how much I want to be done with the podcast now.
Well, we got a lot of Q&A to roll through.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, you bitch. We're going. I ain't got time. All right. So, woolly ponchos. By the way, guys, welcome to the Q&A section. Again, powered by the motherfucking Koyo store. Make sure you guys head over to the koyostore.com and use that code BLeaguers to get all of your paraphernalia. You can even get Game of Thrones paraphernalia now if you guys aren't angry at season 8, like we are.
What are you reading
Fuck
off
season
of Twitter or Reddit?
I'm gonna read off Reddit. Are you
Okay.
gonna read off Twitter?
I'll go Twitter then, yeah.
Okay. All right. So first question off of the Reddit, again, r/B leaguers. If you guys want to get on that, we always ask Q&As before the episodes because we know you guys love it, even though Flynn hates it. Okay.
Yup.
Woolly ponchos. How do you feel about the NA and EU shuffles coming this offseason? Also, what do you guys make of Team 1 in LATAM beating out FaZe for the Allied minor spot? The shuffle is what it is, man. That's just how off seasons work for literally everything. You're always going to lose somebody off of your team. Like, that's just how traditional sports are. You're going to be like, oh, I really wish that guy didn't go, but he's gone. And that's just how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. People want to move on and try and find things that work better for them. So we'll see how it goes. The NA shuffle is going to be fucking psychotic. I can tell you that right now. It's good. You guys don't even know.
We said that after SI, and then nothing happened. So
Well, we did, but now, like,
things have
we
changed.
know,
Yeah.
we know. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So okay. What are your thoughts on it? For me, for the Team 1 thing, it was a first come first serve thing that you should have signed up faster.
No, they beat him out in the bracket. Is what happened. Team 1 ran the bracket and beat FaZe in the grand finals.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember the story. Apologies. Now I remember the story. For that, the FaZe wasn't ready. They just were not ready to play in that bracket at all. They were getting prepared for Milan. That was their main focus. And one of their teammates, I can't remember exactly who. I think it was Ion ? It was like, hey, let's play in this. They really wanted to go to Vegas and just didn't work out. So
yeah, for Team 1 to be able to do that, it's impressive because Team 1 in the relegation match looked marginally better than their competition. They didn't look great. I'll tell you that much. They did not look great by any stretch of the fucking imagination. They looked all right though, so we'll see how they do in Vegas. I mean, LAN experience is huge, especially for a team that inexperienced. Like, I tried to, for that relegation game, I did hours of research on Liquipedia, or just searching. It wasn't even research, it was just, have any of you motherfuckers done anything else that I can fall back on here? Should I know your names? No, I couldn't find jack shit. I even I reached out to everyone I could possibly think of. Like, hey, do you know these guys? No. Okay, cool. So, I don't know jack shit about Team 1 as far as their history is concerned. I just know that they looked meh at best in the relegation game. They were hot. They won the bracket. We'll see them in Vegas. We'll see how that goes. I don't know, man. That's a very young, inexperienced team. I don't know how they'll fare against international competition.
It's going to be interesting. The minor's going to be a lot of fun. You and I already talked about that. The
Yeah.
minor's going to be interesting due to the fact that we're going to have so much new competition that hasn't faced each other before. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Oh my God. Dude, I really cannot get over the amount of people that just post their fucking disgusting keyboards on Twitter. Makes me want to vomit. Like, just clean your fucking keyboard, dude. My God. All right. Next question from Noah. Noah, don't fuck it up this time. If LATAM made a super team with all of its best players, 1, who would it be? And 2, how well would it fare against the best teams of each region at their primes, i.e. G2 most of the time and EG first half of Oregon?
I don't know. I mean, the Latin American teams right now are super teams. Like, in comparison to what else is out there, they all are super teams. Like, you could trade pieces back and forth. But, I mean, like, you could have someone like... You could put, like, Nesk and Psycho and Astro and fucking Cyber
Navis.
and Navis all on one team.
And that would probably be really, really, really weird, to be honest.
Yeah, like, you have role players for a reason, right? Like, you have, like, people talk about, like, fucking super teams all the time. People talk about, like, oh, this isn't CSGO, man. You have role players for a reason. You have support players for a reason. And no, they aren't the flashiest, but they're the best at what they do. That's what makes them incredible. Like, you could put 5 fraggers on a team, and Rec did that and somehow made it work. And we're still baffled by it to the day.
Yeah, and then fucking Mark fell off a cliff, but whatever.
Well, he's on Breach. That's what happens when you play Breach.
Tell that to Young, dude.
Okay, Young's a different case. That's on
shut
Lamb.
the fuck up, Flynn.
That's
you said that's what happens when you play Breach. Breach. That's what happens when you drink bleach, idiot.
Might as well be called bleach, because that's where all your kills are in the fucking scoreboard. They get bleached away.
Eat my literal dick. Who has a higher KD in ranked? Me. Fuck you, idiot.
Who has a better rank? Me.
And then?
Fuck you.
And then?
Oh no, you gun golds.
I'm not playing against golds, you bitch. Why do you act like I'm terrible at this game?
You are.
Eat a fucking cock, Flynn. I could have diamond fucking tomorrow if I wanted to get it. I just have no drive to get diamond because it's not worth anything. It's not, and you know that.
Oh, I'm hearing her fucking excuses.
Oh, eat a literal bag of dicks.
Pathetic.
Eat my literal ass, Flynn.
Not diamond caster. Oh, mega lol.
At least I'm not Emzo. Okay. Anyways, besides the fact from that, Rainbow Lizard. If you had to pick an all-athletic starting 5 of R6 pros, who would you pick? By all-athletic, does he mean like the most athletic R6 pros?
Yeah.
Or does he mean like, okay.
Like the most built motherfuckers out there?
Okay. I would go with Laxing. Laxing. And Laxing 3 more times.
Probably go...
I don't know who else is like fucking just like ripped, dude. Like,
well, there's there's Laxing, there's Crying, there's what's his face?
How many dudes are you checking out, Flynn?
All of them. What, you think I want to cast for the rest of my life, dude? Nah, I'm a trophy husband.
I believe it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's what's his face from Latin America. I can't remember what team he plays on, but he's fucking enormous. I mean, Muhammad's huge. M King's, is it M King or is it? I think it's M King, who's massive as well. And he and Muhammad kind of look alike. They're not exactly ripped. They're just big motherfuckers.
Laxing's the most buff dude out of the entire R6 scene. Like, that's like, he just is. Granted, a lot of you guys,
Magnet's better than a lot of the competition.
Yeah.
I'd
kiss him.
Oh, 100%. I'm trying to think of someone else. Goga.
Even though he didn't get me any fucking slides. Yeah, Goga.
Oh,
yeah, dude, Goga. Fuck.
There you go. There's our 5. I think we said 5 people. Moving on.
Who else? Just Rams count? Rams is fucking huge.
No, he's not.
Rams?
Yeah.
Dude, Rams, no, not like fucking like actual like height-wise. Laxing isn't even that tall. But like actually like just fucking buff as shit. Rams is buff as shit, dude. That dude snapped you in half.
It looks
I'm
like
so
I could
serious.
step on him in Vegas, but okay.
No, Flynn, I'm so serious. Like under that is like a dude that like benches 210. Like fucking, it's ridiculous.
Did not look like it in Vegas, but oh well.
Yes,
Anyway.
no, I'm so serious, dude. Rams is, well, no, he was a fucking, he was a military instructor.
Yeah.
Like he's, yeah, fucking dude is, I don't know, man. Dude's fucking built. Anyways, besides that, we're on to Zinc. Hello, Zinc. How are you? What were your favorite moments and or things to do outside of the casting / games of Milan? That night where we showed
Drunk
up to get
pizza
food with
EG.
the drunk pizza with EG.
There you go. That's
where
pretty
our
cool.
literal where the guys making our pizza were more drunk than Flynn and I were. That was great.
I was pretty hammered by the end of it. So let's actually tell the story because it's kind of funny. So Dev fucks off from the hotel early. So we're like, Dev, where the fuck are you? We need pizza right now. So he's at this pizza place, and we show up, and all of EG's there as well. And we're all grabbing pizza. And we're like chugging back beers and shit while waiting for our pizzas to get made. And the pizza was so fucking good. Oh my god. I want more of that pizza right now.
Really
and
good.
then like a bunch of drunk chicks show up as we're about to leave, so I gave
man.
them my pizza to give to the girl that looked like she couldn't fucking stand, and
What the
then
fuck was her name?
I don't remember, and they were from like what, Ireland,
Scotland.
that's what it was.
No, remember? Because she told me that I wasn't Irish, I was
Oh, yeah.
American, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's not how this works. Like,
So we were talking with the girls, and then we both had the same assumption of her friends are fine. Nah, her friends are also drunk. They can just walk. So they go and order a pizza, and they're like, "Yo, watch our friend outside. Make sure she doesn't get hit by a car." So we're
they're
just
asking
standing
two
outside.
complete strangers, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
we've never met these people before. In our life. It
Never
was like,
seen
hey,
them before.
Our drunk friends outside. You mind watching her? And Flynn and I both have a beer in our hand. We're like, yeah,
Okay,
fuck it. Like,
I guess we're on babysitting patrol. So we're standing outside in the fucking rain with this random ass chick who's like, I swear to God, she does one more shot, she's on the floor unconscious. Like, that's how drunk she is. And I'm like, okay, if she does actually pass out, we're gonna end up having to carry her somewhere with her friends, because they're not gonna be able to carry her, and they're not gonna leave her in the street. Like, we're getting the short end of this deal, no matter what happens. And thankfully, she was able to stand and sobered up a little bit, and the friends came back out and took her home. I was so fucking worried the whole time that we were literally going to end up having to either call them an Uber or carry them somewhere. Because they said they were like,
gonna faceplant.
oh yeah, I
Dude,
thought she was
especially-
done for.
Dude, when she started wrestling me for my fucking
Oh, yeah.
beer, and I was like, and you like you were looking at me, you're like, do not let this bitch fall. And I was like, I got her. Don't worry. Like, guys, like, I swear to God, she has like 2 hands on my beer, and I have like 1 hand on my beer, and she's like, oh, you're strong. And I was like, no, you're drunk. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So finally, like, I just like let go of the beer. I was like, it's already all foam now, basically. So just like take the fucking beer, whatever. So she just took the beer, and then we just like stood up there for like 5 minutes, like talking back and forth about some dumb shit. And Flynn legitimately was just like, I have no idea where I'm from. And I was like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
So that was basically the gist of
Canada.
that. They came
That's
back. They came back outside, and we walked home with Dev in the rain. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I got another beer. So,
Yeah, we were chilling
Yeah.
with all the EG guys and the guy who's like, I don't know. I don't remember what the video was for. He's doing video work for them. I don't know if it was directly just for EG or if it was for Ubisoft.
it was for Ubisoft.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was a fun night. The first night that we all went out drinking as well, like the night we got there, that was fun too because you didn't
Oh
have
my
any
God.
food. So we were at the hostel with. So if anyone's unaware of the whole situation, Michael, so Kickstar, and Marcella, his girlfriend, Impa, they had a couple of Brazilian friends come to Milan as well for the event to hang out. So it was Calera and Letitia. They're 2 pretty big streamer influencer people in Brazil for Siege and gaming in general. And they were hanging out with us, and we were at this hostel where they only took cash. They didn't take credit card. So in order to use a credit card, you have to spend 50 euros, which in Canadian dollars is about 75 or 80 bucks. Not fun. And I said, fuck it. Why not? So we go up to the bar, and I just look at the dude, and I'm like, whatever 50 euros of buckets of beer and ice is, I will buy. And he just looks back at me. He's like, wait. What do you want? I'm like, I need to spend 50 euros to use my credit card, right? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a sign here that says you got a bucket of ice and 4 beers for fucking, like, what was it, 6 euros? Yeah, it was 6 euros. I'm like, okay, I need 9 of those, because that puts me to 54. And he's like, you want 9 buckets of beer? I'm like, yes, I want 36 beers in ice right now. Let's go. So he fucking has me hop the desk and go around and pay for it. And I start bringing the beers back, and everyone just looks at me like I'm a fucking moron. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? There's nothing else I can do. So we all sat there while Sam ate his Uber Eats. Actually, we all ate your pizza. We all stole it.
I didn't get the pizza. I got popcorn chicken.
Oh, shit, that's right. You did. I was really drunk. I'm sorry.
No, dude, we were all really drunk.
I was
By the
so
way, guys,
hammered.
we were up till 5 a.m. and we'll continue down the line. But there's more even
Yeah.
on the walk home. So we get pizza. I get
happened to-
popcorn chicken.
Oh, right.
We're
I
drinking
forgot.
like Kix and I. No, you didn't fall. I knocked you over. Anyways, and then you need me in the stomach because you're a piece of shit. Anyways,
you're a little
so
bitch.
yeah, fuck you. Anyways, so I was drinking heavily with Flynn and everybody else. Kix and I were doing tequila shots. Kix, between myself and him, each had 4 tequila shots. It was a lot. So at this point in time, I'm probably fucking 7 to 8 beers in and 4 tequila shots in, and like we're just eating pizza. Fucking at some point, I'm singing Paramore with oh my god, her name's escaping me right now. Oh my god, the
Which
one that streams on Facebook.
Calera?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I ended up singing fucking Paramore with Calera. We were singing Ain't It Fun? And she was playing it on the acoustic guitar. And I was just drunk as shit, just belting this motherfucker at 4 a.m. in the bar. And everyone was
Oh, yeah.
like, dude, it was so much fun. We had such a good time.
My favorite moment outside of the casting was on Sunday night. So this was after the after party. We were all pretty fucking drunk. So everyone had the bright idea, and I don't know why Michael thought this, and I will have to ask him. Actually, he won't give a shit, so there's no point in asking him. But anyway, I said very early on like the first day on Thursday, that I had a nice bathroom. And then everyone else was like, my bathroom is shit, my shower is shit, it's fucking awful, I hate this fucking place, this fucking goddamn hotel room with a shitty bathroom. So I guess Michael clocked that at some point and was like, oh, Flynn has a nicer room than us. No, that wasn't the case. I just had a properly built bathroom because my hotel room was still very small. So for some reason, as we're all coming back from the after party, Michael goes, "Okay, guys, we're gonna go watch Game of Thrones. We're going to Flynn's room to do it. I just gotta grab my laptop from my room." So we all file into my fucking hotel room, and it's a small hotel room. It's literally meant for like one person who doesn't need to be here that often, and that was me. I was not in my room very long for the weekend. Usually out drinking or working. So we get in, and there's fucking, I think there's 11 of us total into this hotel room, and we're all trying to watch on this little wall-mounted TV in the fucking hotel room. So to go down the roster, it was Michael, Marcella, Necrox, Hot and Cold, Nyx, Magnet, Bacon, Calera, Letitia, myself, and I think that's everyone. I think. But I was also really drunk. And Magnet was really drunk too. But anyway, we all ended up in my fucking hotel room. 11 of us trying to sit on one fucking bed and a chair trying to watch Game of Thrones. And halfway through, as soon as the thing that everyone knows happens, but if you haven't yet, I won't spoil it for you, Magnet just goes, he stands up in the middle of the bed, in the middle of like 6 people, all drunk off their ass, as everyone's trying to survive on this bed. He stands up in the middle of it and goes, "Alright, that's the episode. I'm gone." And just walks out the fucking door. He leaves his hotel key card in my room.
Magnet was drunk as fuck.
I don't know where he went. He made it
I can
home
tell you
safe, but that's about it.
Yeah, because I had breakfast with him the next day, but I don't
Yeah.
know what the fuck happened between
I don't
me
know.
waking up to go downstairs. By the way, he was up before I was, so I
I
don't
don't
even really
think
know
he
if he went to
slept.
bed.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
he
think
slept.
that he just like tried to get as sober as possible, and that was about it. I don't really know.
Yeah, I honestly don't think he slept.
Yeah, so
We have a lot of
that was-
fun at LAN, by the way. If anyone
Yeah.
hasn't picked that, we have a lot of fun at LAN events.
yeah. Especially after the event's over, Flynn and I just attempt to kill ourselves with alcohol.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Yep, literally as soon as that last game is done, man. Oh,
Should I tell him how I started things off at the after party since you got there before me and I had to catch up?
sure.
Okay, so I walk into the after party. First off, I have Necrox and NVK standing outside. Bump into them, start talking to them, and then Nyx comes out, and of course, Nyx can drink in Europe because he's 18.
Yep.
So Nyx is drunk as fuck, and he walks.
Oh, he was
outside,
so
starts talking to
hammered.
me. He starts talking to me, and I was like, I heard that we have to get drink tickets, and he goes, yeah. And I go, where do I get those? And he's like, this gentleman right here. The guy's like, is your name on the list? I was like, yeah, Samuel Stewart. And he's like, okay. So he crosses out my name. He's like, all right, you're good to go. Here's 3 drink tickets. I was like, only 3. And Nyx goes, bro, don't worry. I've got 15 drink tickets on me. We got you. And I was like, oh no. So,
He came and said the same thing to me like 5 minutes before that.
Yep. So him and I walk up to the bar and we start shooting the shit. And he hands me like 2 or 3 more drink tickets, and he goes, yo, the bar closes at 3. At this time it's 2:15.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, so I'm either sending it or I'm not sending it. And Flynn's here, which means I'm sending it. So
I was already
take
half in the bag when
Yep.
you showed up, and I
Yep.
got there
So-
15 minutes before you.
So Flynn, you know what I did? I
Yeah.
took all the drink tickets and I pushed them to the bartender, and he goes, what do you want? And I said, I want as many Vamos IMTs as you can possibly make. And he goes, okay. So as this man is mixing these drinks for me, I gave him 5. I am not sucking them through the straw. I'm bending the straw back because they're like those tiny plastic cups.
Yep.
And I'm just gunning them as he gives them to me.
Yep.
So right off the bat, I just slam 5 mixed drinks, and then I hand him 2 more tickets, and I go, I'll take 2K comrades. And he makes me the 2K comrades. So I'm 5 drinks in from the bar, walking with two drinks away outside to go talk to you and Alex. And I got your drinks too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I had to make 2K comrades, and then I think 2 Jack and Cokes.
Yeah.
And then just bounced over, gave you your 2 drinks, then you and I bounced outside. So
Yeah, I was
I
killing
was
Jack and Cokes all
drunk
weekend.
as fuck, dude. Oh my god, that was a great night. That was a great night.
It was great.
Also, for any of you that was wondering, Magnet did not bring me my slides. Therefore, I'm not using this code on the Fnatic website to get said slides because fuck you, Magnet. I'm using RizRaz's code instead. So,
Exactly.
anyways, Milan's a lot of fun. We fuck up some lands. So
We do. Every land we
Ne-
go to, we have a lot of fun.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So next thing from Zinc. With Empire winning the final and what's to be considered an upset, at least from EG fans, how do you think EG should proceed in trying to break through the brick wall using a running term? Or is there one? Or is there what? Or is there one as in a brick wall? While EG may or may not have a problem in psychology keeping their cool, do you think the community and memes have a negative effect on their mindset? What are
No.
your thoughts on the cafe rework? Oh, that's the next thing. Okay, so anyways, you take the floor on that.
We talked about it a lot. Sports psychologists would probably help them tenfold. They just got to learn how to close out games. But no, I don't think the community backlash or the memes really fuck them up. We talk to them all the time, and that shit does not get in their head. They don't give a fuck about the memes. The memes are hilarious. Keep the memes flowing. Long live the memes.
Necrox is literally memeing about his own team.
Yeah, he literally responded to the ESL thing, being like, hey, after Parker said he would quit, he's like, yo, at least I can't choke at casting.
Contrary to popular belief, you definitely can.
You
but it's fine.
can. You definitely can. But yeah, no, they don't give a fuck. They really don't. They're there to win. That's all they're focused on. They don't give a fuck about memes or if someone's like having a joke at their expense. They don't give a fuck, man. It's all good.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I feel the same way about it. So What are your thoughts on the cafe rework? I like it. I think it. I think that's what they need to handle all of the maps as. I wish they would go back and do the same kind of thing to Hereford Base, but we'll see. I like it personally. Fun. What's your thoughts on it?
So I like what they've done with it. I like that it looks like it's going to be a viable map now. I don't give a fuck what you do to anything on Cafe. I'll still hate it. I'll still hate the map Cafe Dostoevsky, no matter what you do to the map. I have too many PTSD scars from that fucking shit pile that it was for the last 3.5 years. Fuck that map with a rake. You could have literally just retextured it and made it a brand new map, and I would have sucked them off. But Cafe and me don't sit well. I like what they've done. It looks like a good playable map. Fuck Cafe with a rake. That's... For me, it's Cafe, it's Theme Park, and it's Skyscraper. And sadly, they're reworking 2 of those. I'd rather them be sent into a death fire pit.
You know what my most hated map in the entire game is? Bartlett University.
I still hate the other 2 more. Or the other 3 more than Bartlett.
I hate Skyscraper because it is every fucking ranked no-brain idiot's favorite map because you can just jump out of every fucking window for no reason. And no matter how many claymores you have on offense, you are fucked in your ass.
If they even work.
Yeah. Yep. So, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of the maps that were developed in like year 1, like late year 1, and then into year 2, just favored this fucking bot-esque style of play where you can do literally anything and it works. It's fucking annoying. Like, it's annoying. Anyways.
Really looking forward to the canal rework, though.
Oh, man. You and I got a fucking rock hard dick for that, dude. Let me tell you. Oh, man. I'm so ready. Okay. Moving on from that.
Yep.
What kind of game could draw your attention away from Siege in terms of being a player? I would say literally anything that is a new AAA first-person shooter that is competitive. I like competitive games where a skill gap is there and I can be better than somebody else. That's just how I am. So, like, Splitgate just came out. I'll probably play it for a little bit, but I'm not going to do anything with it. It's just made by, like, a smaller developer. It's a lot of fun. But in terms of anything else, it's going to have to be something new, a new IP. Because as of right now, everything's pretty washed up. COD's washed up. I'm probably going to play the shit out of Halo when it comes out. But besides that, the FPS is not washed up at all. It's one of the most competitive games to watch. And I feel like there's still a niche area that can be made that if a AAA company takes it upon themselves to make a great first-person shooter that is actually competitively viable, hit reg is good, everything, I think it's going to blow up. I really do. CS is still an amazing game to watch. Rainbow's still an amazing game to watch. Now, granted, there's never going to be another Rainbow Six Siege. It's just not going to happen. And that's just due to the fact of how much stuff is put into Rainbow. Like, there's not going to be a game that ever feels like Rainbow. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are looking at Ready or Not. Ready or Not's a simulator. It's a simulation. It's nowhere near what Rainbow Six Siege is. So, there's not going to be a massive competitive scene for Ready or Not. Again, this might be a game that I pick up and play for a little bit, but that's about it. Other than that, again, AAA company picking up the first-person shooter franchise and actually making a competitively viable game. I thought Overwatch, honestly, was going to be that game for a long time, but I fucking hate Overwatch. So, like, I'll play it with my friends sometimes and have fun with it, but that game pisses me off. The amount of CC inside of that game is fucking dumb. But I can answer Flynn's question on this side, and that's literally nothing. So, Moving on from that. How's your day going, Flynn? Not peak ass.
How's my day? I had to clean up exploded baby bunny. So not
Very
great.
Nice. My day was good. I sat up on my pool and got drunk. So there we go. Anyways, next question. Santos Games asks, Flynn, what did your daily schedule look like when you were casting Pro League?
A lot of Red Bull. So here, let me run through.
You should have taken a picture of that, by the way.
I should have. Let me run you through what my daily schedule was like when I was working every broadcast for the last month. which was okay. If it's Sunday night, that means Game of Thrones is on at 3 a.m. That's fine because I can stay up until like 6 a.m. and then I can sleep until about 4 or 5 p.m. So I can get a decent sleep in, which is good to start the week. And then broadcast for NA starts at 2 a.m. So we have to be at the studio for around 1, which means we're probably not out of there until about 6 or 7. We're not home until about 7:38. I'm pretty tired at that point, so go to sleep, but I can't sleep for too long because if I fuck my sleep schedule up too hard, then I won't be able to get up for LATAM on Wednesday. So on Tuesday, it's sleep for 6 or so hours, so probably from like 9 until 3. Wake up at 3, chug a lot of Red Bull to stay awake, get on, play some video games with Alex and stream, then get ready to go to, or back to bed to stay awake a little bit longer. You got to balance the sleep schedule, go to sleep around like 5 a.m. So then go to sleep at 5 a.m., wake up the next day again. A little bit of sleep, but not a whole lot because I've probably got to go do a grocery run. So I'll probably get up at noon. So I've had, 6 hours of sleep maybe. Get up, go for a grocery run. I mean, also there were random nights as well during the week where we'd go out and drink or go out for dinner and stuff. So there's other obligations there. That would take away from sleeping. But anyway, from there, do a grocery run. Usual shit. Again, get on stream, get off, go to the LATAM broadcast. LATAM starts at 11 p.m., doesn't get done until about 5, 4 if we're lucky, with all the rehosts and shit. Get home again around 6:30 in the morning, go to sleep. But oh, wait, you can't sleep for jack shit today, Flynn, because you got to do EU on Friday. So then go to sleep at like 8 a.m., wake up at about 11 a.m., chug an entire pack of Red Bull to stay awake for the rest of the day so you can go to sleep at a normal time around 3 a.m., then go to sleep at fucking 3 a.m. and wake up the next day at about noon so that you can still, again, go out and do shit and have a normal life and run errands and take care of the apartment and make sure you stream, and then get to the office for about 5 because we have to do a lot of prep for EU and stuff because it's a changeover of production crews and stuff. And then, yeah, get to the office at 5, do all the rundowns. Broadcast starts at 7. It's usually not done until about midnight, 1 a.m. You're not home until about 2 a.m. And then Saturday night, we usually go out drinking. So my sleep schedule is turned back around that way, but I've been sleep deprived the whole week. So got to stay up and go out drinking so that I can sleep all day Sunday to wake up late on Sunday to start it all over again, to start with Game of Thrones at 3 a.m. That was my daily schedule in Poland for the last month. And I don't think I got more than 6 hours of sleep at night for the entire month. And I drank approximately 150 Red Bulls in a month.
He should
About
own the
150.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Not fun.
So,
Not fun.
all right. So next thing from Santos Games is for me, Stokes. What do you do on the day of a USN cast? So since all the times are the same start, traditionally speaking,
Fuck you.
Yep, you can fuck me, Flynn. Anyways, besides that fact, traditionally speaking, I would wake up, maybe stream that day or do what the fuck ever in the morning. I usually woke up around like 2 p.m. and then I would, because I can stay up for a really long amount of time. Like traditionally speaking, after the USN broadcast, I would go home. I would stay awake until I could order KFC for breakfast. They would show up with my KFC. I would eat said KFC and go to bed at like 11 a.m. and then wake up at like 7 p.m. and then play ranked until like 5 a.m. the next day. So, but traditionally, wake up, do my regular shit, come back at like 5 p.m., watch some VODs, get my notes for that night, which was in that black book that you guys now see me writing in, and then show up to the office at 12:30ish for prep. And then once we're done with prep, wait for broadcast. Then once the broadcast starts at 2 a.m., we're usually there and done at about 6 a.m.-ish, 7 a.m.-ish sometimes, depending. We had one delay where we were done at 7. So, and then after that, Uber on back to the apartment, and that's the rest of the time. So it's for USN, it's not that much prep work because most of the time it's either a team I already know or it's just a bunch of players that have meshed together that I already knew from the beginning. So I just literally write down their scores and I can pull all the other information out of my ass on the spot. So
It's not that difficult. Like I have a couple of my notes here that I can read you, I guess. Like where we at? Oh, for West. So like for our West bracket, which was Reciprocity versus Our Bad. I had Reciprocity's maps written down, which was their most played was Coastline, where they won 3, tied once and lost twice, and they played it 6 times, obviously, is the total. And their most banned was Bank, where they played it twice and banned it 12 times. And I just wrote down a couple of tag things, like Laxi moving from a Thatcher role on offense to IQ, so he has more flexibility. And wrote down their most banned ops and what they're known for, which is obviously their fluid play style. So just simple things along those lines are just talking points that you can look down and fill with, stuff like that. So nothing too crazy. I went way more in depth for our season finals, as Flynn knows, because Flynn and I did notes together so that we both had the information fresh in our minds. So on to the next question, which is going to be from English Jesus. If you had to pick 4 current pros to play with you in a pro league season, which 4 from each region would you pick? That's a lot of work. And what role would you put them on, including yourself?
That is a lot of work. You want to just limit that to NA?
I'm down with just doing NA. I mean, fuck it. We'll do NA and EU because I think LATAM is going to be difficult for us.
I mean, I could piece together a couple.
Yeah, I could do the same, but I'm just going to throw them on there. And it's probably just going to be all gunners. So,
yeah, I mean, like, it depends. Like, I've played with a few of the pros before, so I know, like, what our comms look like, but I also haven't played with some of the pros before, so don't know what we would be like comms-wise, but just as a player, I'm always support or, like, a support flex in either attack or defense, so I'd probably put myself on Breach just because I know I wouldn't be outgunning a lot of pros. From there, I don't know, I'd probably take, like, Achieved, Hyper for, like, my frag flex duo. I need another support with me, so I'd probably take Nate, so NVK for, like, Thatch and support on attack, and then my go-to guy to do whatever the fuck I want him to do on defense, basically. Nate can play pretty much anything. And then, to round it out, probably need another supporting guy. Let's go with, probably say either Redeemer or Hot and Cold. Yeah. I think that'd probably be my team. Actually, I might swap out Hyper for Geo. Yeah.
all right, you ready for mine?
Sure.
I'm going to go Rampy, Hyper, Young, and Skies. That's what mine would be. And
Yeah.
I would more than likely put me personally on flex because that's where I play the best. So I've done the smoke main shit before. That was what I played on my last team. And I'm good at it. Like I just got good with smoke, and then that's when they patched the SMG 11, and that's when it was a fucking frantic, just terrible gun. Everyone was like, "Oh fuck!" But now it's a lot easier in this current patch that they're going to be bringing out with Phantom Sight. If you guys haven't played it yet, especially for you guys that play on console, so the SMG 11 is going to get a lot easier, but it's still not what it used to be. But flex, just due to the fact that on offense, I play a lot of things that are considered flex. So I play like Sledge, I'll play Glaz, I'll play Jackal, I play basically fucking anything on offense. If you want me to play Ash, I'll play Ash, doesn't matter. I traditionally speaking, if I have information, I get my kills, especially inside of a competitive environment. I'm way better in comp than I am in ranked. I'm fucking terrible at ranked because I always have the comp mindset where it's you trust the information that you're given and you're only as good as your information. So you know, it gets me punished all the fucking time in ranked because I trust callouts that are terrible and then I die, but it's whatever. Anyways, besides that fact, on defense, I'm more or less the same. My favorite operator on defense is Pulse, as most of you guys know, because that's what my fucking eye logo is modeled after. So Pulse more or less falls into that flex role, and I like a lot of the flex operators. I like Smoke, I like Mute. You know, I can play a Mean Mira, stuff like that. And worst case scenario, if somebody's got the hot hand, that's a support player, I can always go back to Breach. I played Breach. I've done it a million fucking times, and it's whatever. So I feel that I fit the best inside of Flex. Young would obviously be support. We put Skies on support as well because that's what he enjoys doing right now, and he enjoys playing smoke. And then obviously Rampy and Hyper as our fucking two, just take your brain out and shoot everything would be fun. And honestly, if I had to say anything, I would love to IGL that team because that'd be fun as fuck. So I'm just saying that'd be fun as fuck to set up pinches and shit with Hyper and Rampy, dude. Oh my god, I'd have a fucking field day with that. All right, but that's me for NA.
You want to do EU still?
I'm down.
All right. I'm gonna bring one out of the woodwork who's not actually in Pro League right now. Panics.
Okay.
Definitely have him as a support guy beside me. And then from there, let's go Crips on frag. Let's go Uno on frag flex. And let's do... Need someone like a little more intermediate. Kind of more supporty. That's a tough one. Wow, this is tough. There's too many options. There's too many fucking options.
Just say it.
I don't know. I actually
Just
like.
say it.
I don't even know what I want to do. Me, Panics, Uno, Crips.
You're really not gonna put Kanto in there?
I got Crips and Uno. I'm good with that.
All right, dude.
I'll take Jonas.
Okay. So mine is gonna be Kanto, Hungry, Pengu, because Pengu is just fucking ridiculous at his role. And then for my last, ooh, I don't know. I'd say Dan, honestly. Put Dan in there as my last one. Because the thing I like about Dan is that Dan is kind of like me in playstyle, but obviously better than I am. Where he can more or less just play whatever the fuck is thrown at him. So I think it'd be fun to be able to have that as a tool. So yeah.
Alrighty, next up.
Oh, we're doing LATAM? Or we're doing
Next question.
Okay. Thank fucking Christ, because I was about to fall apart. All right. Jari R6 Woat. Sam has the best drip on stage. Flynn's tooth gap is wider than Michael Strahan's. It was awesome seeing the boys in action in Milan. What were your thoughts on the outcomes of the matches before and after?
Didn't we already go through all that?
Yeah, well, we read it anyways because he asked a question. So there you go. That's kind of the whole premise of the podcast. Anyways, on to Super Minun. Super Minun 1. 1. Do you think balancing around attachments is the right thing? Example, Ash's ACOG. Thoughts on that, Flynn?
I mean, it helps, obviously. Like, obviously the pick rate for Ash doesn't support, at least in Pro League anyway, that it had a huge effect or anything. It did affect joystick, but there's other pros out there who have been playing Ash for a very long time that have...
But then...
What?
But then...
What are you trying to interject with?
But then he took the G36 out and he just fucked everybody anyway.
Okay. I mean, yeah, so I don't know, like I'd really be interested to see what happens with something like Twitch if the F2 ever loses an ACOG, because that's a gun that, while at certain times you'll see with a 1X, it's very rare, much more rare than the R4 with a 1X before the ACOG removal. So I wouldn't say there's a clear-cut case one way or another right now. Because also with Twitch versus Ash, he doesn't have another automatic weapon to choose from. It's that, the 417, or the shotgun. So at that point, you got to stick with the automatic. You got to stick with the F2. So what do you do with the F2? Do you run it 1X or do you change ops? And that's a question that would, honestly, I'd love to see an answer to if the ACOG was ever taken off Twitch. But I think I don't think you can really see the case with like Bandit Jaeger, kind of, but they still get played aggressive. You know, the whole mantra behind taking ACOGs away from 3 speeds was to limit the aggressive nature of the game, and yet Bandit and Jaeger still get played extremely aggressive, and they still frag. So that was a balance around playstyle, not Ness' actual gun, because the guns have never been touched. So I'd be interested in something like a test case with like the F2 or the PDW or something like that, or the C7E, where they're really, really, really fucking powerful guns. But are they still as powerful as guns themselves, where they're always used with an ACOG versus being used with a 1X? The R4 wasn't just a sole ACOG weapon in Pro League. It went back and forth between a 1X and an ACOG. Yeah, I don't think there's a clear-cut case.
Yeah, it's a very weird case, and I mean, well, honestly, I more often see Twitch's F2 ran with 1x site than I do an ACOG. So, granted, ACOG is a lot of people's favorite site, which for good reason, but I mean, most of the time, especially people that play entry fragger, are playing an aspect ratio of 4:3 with 90 FOV, which basically means that their fucking screen's already like halfway in ACOG anyways. So using a 1x site really doesn't affect them that much comparison, but like obviously an ACOG still zooms it even farther. But you can still see operators pretty fucking clearly on 4:3 at 60 at 90 FOV. So I don't know. It's a weird case. I feel that people, just because people are really good with something doesn't mean you immediately have to take it away from them. I thought that the fucking whole Ash ACOG thing was dumb. We literally set Bikini Body on fire for it on our first episode, I believe. So, I mean, I think it's fucking stupid. I really don't care either way. Do whatever you will. And honestly, here's the thing: if you think taking away an attachment's immediately going to make that person with that gun just 10 times worse, you're fucking wrong. Like they're just gonna go find something else to use, or they're just gonna get good with what they have in their hands now. Like I'm a fucking Ash main. I'm an Ash Jaeger main. That's what I am. You can R6 tab me. I still have granted my KD's went down a little bit, but that's just more or less dip and play and me just not fucking caring anymore. At the time with Ash ACOG, which I barely use, I use Reflex Sight. I had a 1.58 with Ash. I think right now I have a 1.49, which again, like at 60, I'm at 60 hours with it right now, I think. The change isn't that much. And since that time, I probably have another like 15 hours on her from when the ACOG got removed. And again, that's not far of a KD dip, because most of the time, your operators are sitting around like a 1.3, a 1.2. My Ash and Jaeger are still at a 1. My Jaeger is still at a 1.6, and I have 49 hours on him. So, I mean, just because you have a 1x site doesn't automatically mean that you're now just a shit can. Like, that's not going to fucking happen. The R4C is still a great gun. So, I think it's kind of a stupid thing to try and balance it around an attachment rather than just, balance around fire rate and damage. So, on to the next question. Should the new operators have their guns be named something different to prevent difficulties in future balancing changes? Example, balancing the ump for both Pulse and Castle. I think that example is actually very piss poor due to the fact that Pulse and Castle are kind of sort of played the same way. You can get aggressive with both of them because they only have utility for themselves, except Pulse has utility that you can really use to feed information back to the team. Castle has a utility that you can use to kind of just bottleneck things and make it to where people can't go certain areas unless they have soft/hard destruction. So, in that aspect, I think that the ump is fine to balance for both of those operators. I think lowering it or raising it damage margin wise or rate of fire wise doesn't make one of the other more powerful than the other one. They both do something different with their utility that presents new things that the offense has to deal with. For the FMG9, which I'm going in the MPX, that I'm assuming you're going to be talking about, I would say the only thing that kind of sucks with not having different guns for different operators, and I've ran into this recently, especially with Warden on the field now, is that when he shoots his MPX, I go, oh, Valkyrie, and then I get shot by a Warden because, I thought it was a fucking Valkyrie. So, yeah, I'd say that's the only kind of a weird thing, but other than that, I mean, the FMG9 on defense is Smoke's gun, and Smoke rarely uses the FMG9.
And on offense, it's Nook's gun. So you can kind of differentiate. Do I have a Nook on offense? No, I don't. Okay, obviously that's smoke with an FMG9. It works for an informational basis. It's really hard, especially for higher end ranked players like Flynn and I. You can identify people just by the sound of their fucking gun. Like they shoot their gun and you go, that's Blackbeard. Don't peek him. Like you don't even have to have him marked for your HUD. You just know it's Blackbeard's gun. You know it's the MK17. You know it's the SR25. So in that aspect, it's kind of fucking weird.
I mean, that confusion still exists to this day, and it's been there since launch. I mean, person who asked the question submitted the example of Pulse and Castle, but also Sledge and Thatcher. The L85 is still the dominant weapon on both of those, and to this day, even while casting, I'll have to go, and some SAS attacker got a kill, because the L85 exists in both of their hands, and that's just the nature of it. Same thing with Finka LMG versus Fuse LMG. It's just a thing, and that's how it goes. Like, yes, it's a little confusing at times, and the recycled guns, I don't really get where the ideology came from on this one. I'm a little confused by it, because yes, we have recycled weapons, like I just said. The Fink LMG uses the Russian LMG, because she's also Russian. For the ops to have solely ripped weapons, and not weapons that are special to them, it's weird. So I don't hate it. I don't like it. I don't have an opinion towards it. I just think it's interesting that was a decision that was made. It seems so far off course of what we're used to. And we just went on a huge rant about, how ACOGs were affecting, the R4C or the F2. When you think of those names, you think of those weapons, you think of the operators. You hear R4, you think Ash. You hear F2, you think Twitch. Hearing MPX, I immediately think Valkyrie. And I'm always going to think Valkyrie with an MPX, even with Warden existing. I see an FMG9, I'm going to think Smoke, even if it is Knock. There's Deagle is what Blackbeard and Valkyrie are known for, is their secondaries. The big, boisterous secondaries that ultimately don't get you any kills. But hey, they can do a lot of damage if you can fucking hit your shot. So
they do now with that muzzle brake, brother. Let me tell you, holy shit.
So I just think it's weird that there's just no special weapon for either of the new ops. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's good, I just think it's weird. But the confusion is always there.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you. So, all right, next. Razzie Golly. Never had the chance to interact with Kazoku, talk about his demeanor. I have never had the good graces to talk to the man. I've bumped into him, per se. Actually backstage at Milan, but it was more or less just like, hey, how are you doing, sort of a thing. General consensus of him, he's just a happy-go-lucky guy. He could care if they win or lose. He really wants them to win, but if they lose, hey, that's fine. We are here to represent our country in a great way, and I think he carries himself very well. Flynn?
Well, I didn't really get to talk to Kazoku all that much in Milan, but I did sit down with him a little bit in Montreal. I was talking with him, their translator, and Waka, and I was just, that was after we did their game, where they did the hand dance. So I was just asking them about the hand dance and where it came from and stuff, and that's how I got that info that, it came from this Japanese pop star from way back in the 80s. And I don't know, I just, got to talk to him for a bit, and he seemed, really energetic and passionate. He seemed really courteous as well, and thankful that, we cared about the culture and stuff, and he's just, he's such a fun dude. Such a fun fucking guy. There's a lot of guys out there that, end up at LANs and stuff, and, we talk to them every now and again. And they're fun in their own right. We'll go out drinking together, or we'll go to the after party and hang out for a bit and fuck around. But Kazoku is just a dude you can always have a fun conversation with, no matter what environment you're in. And I think that's really special. And I think that's a really good thing for Nora, a team that really, honestly, the entire team of Nora Rango embodies that mentality to a core. And I think that's really important. We talked ad nauseum earlier in this episode about teams that were getting at each other's throats. Good to see a difference there with Nora, and it's not hard to see where some of that energy comes from.
I agree. All right, last one on Reddit from Wasted Turtle.
Do you know if Redeemer is going to come back on SSG or going to move to another team? If we did know, we wouldn't be able to tell you, sir. I sorely apologize to you, Wasted Turtle, but maybe next episode, because I'm going to assume that they're going to release something along those lines because they're going to be playing at the minor, and the whole press release about Fultz joining the roster has not been released yet. So once that gets released, we'll see who else they're going to bring onto the roster. But obviously, he's more than likely going to be playing with them at the minor. So that's going to be it for Reddit. What do we got on the tweeters, my guy?
Canadian Milkbag starts us off. There's a lot of questions here that we've already answered, so I'm going to skip them. I'm not even going to read them.
Okay.
Thoughts on the new ops in general?
I really like Nook. I'm actually really fucking good with Nook. I made that tweet about proper loadout and all that kind of stuff for her just because I used to use the FMG N9 a lot with Smoke. It was actually after the conversation we had with Alex where he was like, yo, Smoke can be used as a roamer. I was like, I can see it. And then I started doing it for fun. So FMG9 is a lot of fun on her. I use the flash hider and the hollow sight because I like that hollow sight. The hollow sight is the same one from I can't remember the exact SMG name, but it's from Mozzie's SMG. Then for the secondary, Deagle with muzzle brake. And the thing is with her kit is that you have to sparingly use her utility. You have to use it very intelligently. And it makes for a skill gap. Excuse me, Jesus, I cannot talk today. A skill gap inside of Nook's gameplay. And mostly due to the fact that once you destroy a camera, just turn off your utility. You really don't need it at that point. Once you get into an area where you're like, okay, they can probably hear me here, turn it on. But make sure you don't sprint. You don't even need to crouch. Just walk. Just hold W, walk forward. Just don't sprint, don't alt walk, don't do any of that. The sound suppression with her kit is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, during so far in the Phantom site, TTS, I've gotten so many kills on people that are just surprised that I was there because they didn't know. And it's a lot of fun to fuck with, you know, because the cool thing is like once you get defaults, once you start pushing sight, if there's a Valkyrie cam or anything and you're just walking, they have no fucking clue you're coming. They have no idea. So you can really get the drop on a handful of people. It's a lot of fun. Also, don't worry about taking gunfights with her utility turned on because it doesn't turn it off. It's not like Vigils where once you shoot, it goes away. Hers stays on. So you'll only glitch into camera when you shoot, and that's it. It doesn't expose you. So her kit, if you get it down to a science, it is a lot of fucking fun. Warden is a super niche pick that, honestly, I have not even had a chance to use his utility for one thing, except one time I got to kill through some smoke because somebody was using glass, and I turned that shit on real quick, and I clapped that glass's cheeks, and that's all.
Okay. General thoughts on the ops. I do like them, I guess. I guess it's the easiest way to put it. Like, I don't hate them.
They're
think
super neutral operators. They're not broken and they're not underpowered.
Yeah, like they have their uses. I imagine Knock won't get a whole lot of competitive play. Checking cams will be important, but at the end of the day, that's a very limited amount of utility to bring to the team.
I just thought of this. How much you want to bet Empire plays Nook?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
She's gonna be really good for rushes if you can get rid of Barb.
Yeah, like there's a lot of scenarios we could go through, and I don't really want to dive into that. Trying to keep this brief because we're already over 2 hours. As far as Nox's concerned, I don't see her being that great in comp. I see Warden being great in comp, obviously, to help mitigate smoke pushes. And I look forward to seeing many battles between Warden and Glass through smoke, the only two who can see through it, and just the pandemonium that will ensue with that. I think Warden's going to be a lot better in ranked. There's just something like it itches in the back of my mind that Warden has the MPX but not a Nitro Cell, and I just go, ooh, that doesn't feel right. I'm so used to Valkyrie with having an MPX and a Nitro Cell. We'll see what the trade-off is there. Being able to see through smoke is huge, but you have other devices who currently do that. So do you take a whole operator for that, knowing that it won't be disabled unless Warden takes a bullet to the face? Or do you take something like a Maestro, take a Doc, bulletproof camera, you know, take Castle with a bulletproof camera if you really fucking want to. Mute with a bulletproof, you can go down the list. take any of those operators with a bulletproof or Maestro with evil eyes over just Warden being able to see through smoke. And I was quite disappointed when they said on the reveal panel that they were working on a Jaeger alternate and then came up with this. I would have preferred the Jaeger alternate, but
Yep.
whatever.
Also, just to add on to that fact, he feels super clunky with being a 3 armor. I feel like his kit needs him to be 2-2.
I mean, his whole utility is based around being on site and seeing through smoke and flashes and shit. So, like, him being a 2-2 lends itself towards roam play. So, therefore, you just have other Valkyrie. Balancing wise,
Valkyrie though.
No, he's not other Valkyrie, but you make him other Valkyrie. Where your utility, it's better if you take a Valk in that instance. Because you have a Nitro Cell and you have 3 cams throughout the map versus, like, if he's roaming, he's useless. Or at least his utility is. He can still win gunfights with the MPX. Everyone does. But if he's 2-2, I mean, his whole job really is to sit on the fucking objective, just sit there and take shit and look through smoke and try and stop plants. That's his job. So if he's not a 3-1, like 3 armor 1 speed, then that kind of defeats the purpose because he's got to be able to tank bullets that randomly fly through the smoke, and he's got to be able to see through and fire back. And that's kind of his whole job.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question, which is kind of interesting, and I like it, but I don't know if many other people will be in favor of this. It's an interesting one that I haven't even heard brought up before. If Siege has the longevity that the developers have talked about in the past, how would you feel about older operators, age, not time in the game, but in terms of their actual age, according to the lore, quote, retiring and leaving the R6 roster of operators? Someone like Thatcher, age 56 in the lore, comes to mind.
No.
No?
No.
I like it.
I don't.
I like it a lot.
It completely makes sense, but no.
See, I don't give a shit about the lore. I'm just happy if you take out operators.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If Thatcher retires, then what the fuck are you going to do?
Learn to fucking adapt, idiot.
Thatcher
gets banned all the time.
Dude, if they ban Maverick, you're so fucked. We're going to go back to that. Or if you kill Thatcher, it's just over. If you kill Thermite, it's just over. Oh, hey, dude, no. Stop.
I'm down
Never
with it.
again. No. Flynn, we both competed in those days. You know how bad that was. Your fucking Thermite would die, and you're just like, well, this round's fucked. Like,
don't let your Thermite die.
Just over. Yeah, no shit. Why do you think I started playing Thermite? It's fucking like everyone else just wants to fucking die. Like, oh my god. By the way, there is not another region under the fucking sun that will literally just everyone's dead in the first 30 seconds. Fucking EU is a bunch of people learning what fire is. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's a bunch of cavemen. I don't understand. I don't get it.
What are you on about?
Rank wise, like fucking EU is literally a bunch of cavemen learning what fucking fire is. I don't understand it. Like NA, at least like they're trying to gun each other. Fucking EU, they just run at him and let them just fucking die. Like you're just like, okay, there's 3 people dead and we're 30 seconds in. Like what? What the fuck is going on? Anyways, that's my EU rant for the day. Fuck EU. Continuing down the road.
Fascinating. I like the idea though. I would enjoy the fuck out of that. Just call a bunch of operators all at the same time. Okay, answered that. Kind of answered that. What are you looking forward to from Y4S2? Basically the new ranked setup, basically. So pick and ban, 3-3 on each side. That's a big plus for me.
Yeah, where things feel more competitive and they don't have access to every single fucking hard breacher just because they can.
Is SSG still your hill to die on? 100%.
Abso-fucking-lutely. We stan SSG here on the B-Leaguers. Also, I don't hate EU. I just hate EU ranked. It's just fucking annoying. Makes me want to die on the inside.
Not a question, but glad you guys both did splendidly in Milan. Glad you guys got to cast together. You guys are killing it. Thank you, Casey.
Oh, Casey, you're so nice.
Already answered all that.
Is it outro time?
We're getting there. I like this. So it's a
What?
two-part question from Cowboy Manboy, or Diabetic Beer, the guy who was yelling at me on fucking Reddit. How do you think Mozzie and Gridlock will perform in Pro League?
Ooh. I don't know. I think they're both really niche.
I don't think
I think
Gridlock's
they're-
getting play. I think
I don't
Mozzie
think
will get way
Gridlock's
more
getting
play.
played. Yeah, I think Mozzie's going to get played just because you're literally stealing away drones from the offense, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
This is more information you're taking away from their already limited pool. So
The second part is, Flynn, would you sacrifice Sam for immortality in a heartbeat? If he
Yes,
dies
would.
in the next 5 seconds and I'm immortal because of it, I'll put the bullet in his head myself.
what kind of a question is that?
That's about it.
Oh,
We've answered
right. Well,
pretty much everything else.
I guess it's outro time. You have anything else left to say before I do the outro then?
Nope, not yet. Nothing.
All right, guys. Well, I guess it's outro time now. It's currently 12:39 in the morning here, so about time to go sleep and go night-night after we recorded this podcast. And I've been drunk this entire time, by the way. Hopefully I've held it together pretty well, but no, I'm basically drunk off my ass. But despite that fact, we're going to wrap things up here. This has been the B-Leaguers podcast, sponsored by the Koyo Store. Make sure you guys head over to this koyostore.com. Use that code B-Leaguers to pick up any of your Rainbow Six paraphernalia. They got some beautiful stuff over there. And once again, going to be releasing those Game of Thrones pins pretty fucking soon. So get over there. Get yourself some pins. Use that code B-Leaguers once again. So that's going to be it for myself and Flynn. We will see you guys next Saturday. We promise this time. We love you guys all so very much. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good night.